I slept in High Point Solution Stadiums for a whole summer.
I think we live in a time where spirituality is at an all-time low.
I've always chased him and everything he did. So anything he did, I did behind him. And I want to be better than him at everything.
To help your kid in any kind of sense, because you've been so unplugged from your academic journey.
You're gonna think that town B that you think is, an hour away and it's so much beautiful, but you haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to almost all the states now, and not even from sheer stuff, but just like me traveling. Like if I have to travel back home to my mom in California, I never take the same route. I always take a different route because I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna see this time. Like one time I had to go through Iowa to make a stop and had a friend there, and on the way back the roads were closed, so the cop I talked to, he was like, hey man, you could take 10 hours into Wyoming and check that out. I was like, what's up there? He goes, a whole bunch of nothing. It's pretty though. A whole bunch of nothing, but it's pretty.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right,
let's go. Yeah.
Took the detour and got to go through Wyoming, saw all the snow out there, and obviously with the cheer people, like we have this big old group chat that we're in. Like it's dying now, but we check it out. I can tell you how many people are in it. This is the dying group chat, and it's been dying for.
Like people are leaving it.
Yeah. It's because the purpose was to have everyone connected, right? If you ever need anything, hey, I'm in this state. Anyone want to stunt, or play around or go to the bar or something, like you can have someone there. And then it was also like, hey, like post your fails, And cheerleading's kind of turned into, I wouldn't even say on the all side, it's more the co-ed side, I'm blaming at least. It was like, oh, our fail is, oh, we almost, dropped the girl, haha, but we caught her, And some people took that as, oh no, like I missed her completely. She fell on her face, ha ha ha, let's post that. When it's like, nah, bro, like, that's what we're not supposed to do.
Thanks.
So then people kept posting stuff like that, and then the old heads are like, I'm not with that. Like I don't really want to see that because that just makes me mad at that person.
Thanks.
So then they were leaving it. I'm supposed to be checking how people are in it right now, and it's dying. Right, you can see like people are just leaving left and right. That's all people leaving. And this is like an everyday occurrence. Like every couple of days, someone will say something in it, and then like 10 people leave just because they don't want to be in it anymore. But it's still at 1,033 members. It's been dying like that for 4 years.
And then is that Kentucky or Morehead? Oh,
this is mostly U.S., but like there's definitely people out of the U.S. in this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like even like if I scroll up more, like this is like all the ones that have a little grouping symbol are people leaving. Like every 5 seconds, someone's leaving. It used to be. I think it was up to like 7,000, 8,000 people in there.
Yeah.
And it's grouping, so it's annoying. So it's like, buzzing your phone all day. But people were in there because it was like, hey, I can always find someone that's going to, relate to what I do. Or if I'm stuck somewhere and I need help.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm in this state. Anybody near that? And ding, ding, ding.
So people are leaving because the standard is dropping?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think also people get older and that's one more thing. Yeah, people move on, like it's like one more thing. And because of the standard dropping, people don't want to invite the new kids into it,
Facts, yeah.
So they're like, oh, like y'all are really hurting these people. Like we don't want to see that. So then people stop inviting people in, and there's not that that rate of change where it's actually going back. It's more like we're leaving.
Yeah.
And if you were part of this moment, like you got part of it. And to have over 1,000 people in a group, still
was pretty fire.
Yeah, I'm still like, people in. It became a really big, like you said, recruiting earlier. It's a big coaching tool. People are like, hey, are you in Savage? No, join Savage. And then, you see some guys posting some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, like, what school is that? And they'll text you, hey, what school? Like, you can come by and come join, or come by and come visit and come see what it's like. Even more, like, I don't know if we're on the podcast now, this we're talking about before.
No, yeah, go ahead, continue.
But like, even Morehead was like we used to get in trouble if we posted our fails on there because they didn't want us looking bad at anybody, because we have a Savage to hold. So then people were like, oh, we just post our cool stuff. And it was like, all right. And the rule in Savage was really funny. It was like, lame was good, rich was bad, you know? So someone posted something that was bad and they were like, oh, it's real rich, man, real rich.
Okay.
And everybody was like, oh, you know?
Okay, yeah.
And like, even like the, you know, quote unquote old heads that started it, they're not that old, but like, it was like Dustin, which you've seen Dustin, he cheered here. Logan Kane, which, I mean, Dustin's old, but like,
Yeah.
he's like, you know, within reason old, you know?
Okay, yeah.
And then Logan Kane, which he didn't cheer here, but he's like, big character. Like, he's on Team USA, so is Dustin. Most of these guys, like, obviously, like, top dogs. But it was all like, hey, like, make it a family.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all this is ever. Like,
Yeah.
that's why I can go to any cheer program and be like, hey, like, you know, not any, but, you know, like, if I know someone there, hey, I'm CJ, y'all. What's up? Like, how y'all doing? Not even just me being me, but, like, I have these connections. I have these people. You know, if I go to Louisville and I need a place to stay, hey, cheer friends.
Yeah, no,
You
that's
guys know
fine.
somebody out here? Yeah, you know?
Yeah, that's fine, for sure.
And like I said, I was in Bowling Green. Like, I didn't stay in a hotel or anything. I stayed at a cheerleader's house. Like, and like, I just met. I mean, I've known him for a couple of years now, but like, just met him like 2 weeks ago. You know,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Come on down. You can stay at my house." And when I was over the weekend, I stayed at a dude's house that I've seen him a whole bunch of times. I never really like talked to him, and he was like, "Yeah, you're always welcome." Like, he had this big old couch and a couple of blow up mattresses, and he was like, "All right, you guys can stay." And then it ended up taking in like 5 of us because more people came down that we didn't know were coming.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
was like, cheerleaders, bet, come on.
Yeah, that's fire. So it's real, like a cult, you know, real close.
Cheerleading is a cult.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll put my hands down. Cheerleading is a cult.
Yeah.
And it's like, and like I told you earlier, like my friends were like, why are you doing cheerleading? And mind you, I had scholarships for football, I had scholarships for basketball, I had scholarships for volleyball. Like, and I can say it's my heart now, I love volleyball. Like, it's a sport where I can still sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
But
No,
playing
volleyball
it,
is underrated.
bro, like, you don't even know. Like, if America can get more into volleyball, that would be the next level,
Yeah.
right? Because right now you got like Team Brazil that's killing us every year, basically.
Yeah.
But we have one of the top volleyball colleges, like UCLA. Like, I think the dude they just had was like 6'7", with like a 50-inch vert or something like crazy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what else is he doing? Like, if he was playing basketball, he'd be starting somewhere, you know, or
Yeah.
you know, in the NBA. But even like the difference, like most people don't like watch volleyball, but the women's game, like I still love women's volleyball. Like, I watch that. Like, no offense, I don't feel bad talking about other women's sports, but like women's volleyball is a different sport than men's volleyball. Like, women's volleyball is played on the court, you know, like most of their action happens down here. Mind you, they still go up and do all the stuff at the net, but the men's net is like, I think it's like 3 or 4 inches higher.
Yeah.
And then obviously men have higher verticals, so like they play most of their positioning at the net.
Yeah.
It's like all the hard stuff that's happening is always happening up here. Like, you can definitely, like, you know, receive very well. Receiving is taking the ball and, you know, being able to pass it out, but like, good 70% of the scoring is all at the top.
Right.
You know, like, we call it jousting, when 2 of the players go up and they have to like fight for the ball. And like, that was my favorite thing. Like, if I saw a tall dude that was like way taller than me in volleyball,
Yeah.
but I was like, bro, I don't care what this game looks like. I'm getting up there with him. Like, he goes up, I'm going up right next to him. And like, people, like, I was at middle front, which is like the center position,
Yeah.
which they also call quick hitter, you know. And I'm going so off task, Jesus.
No, it's cool though. This is what we kind of do. This is how it goes.
Hurt.
Yeah, just like.
But like, quick hitter is like, your job is to be your team's main scorer, you
Yeah.
know, because you can move around the court. I mean, not move that much, but you have the option to go up fast, and that's
Right.
what it is. And you see a tall guy on the other side, you're like, all right, like, either he's gonna be, you know, I don't say he's gonna be, you know, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, either I'm a, you know, be on his ass. Fuck, I can't. I'm trying not to curse right now.
Yeah.
Either I'm gonna take control of this,
Yeah.
or he's gonna have control of me. And like, and it's a big head game. Like, I remember as a kid, I think it was Costa Mesa was the team we played, and like, mind you, they were like way better than our school most years. And one year we beat them, and like, I was in that kid's head that game. Like, it was, we got to the net, and I was like, come on, break it down the middle, let's go. If you're a real middle, take it to me right now. And the whole game, you know, he might have had one, and he'd say something, yeah, you couldn't even block that, could you? And the next one he goes up, and I just happen to be a little bit over him perfectly.
Yeah.
And as a middle, what you want, at least in my case, I want to say that this is him, and this is the ball, I want to be right here with my hands. So if I can get my hands up and over the net, not touching the net, and get over the ball like this,
Right.
it's going straight down either in his face or down his chest.
Yeah.
You know, you can always save it by, you know, kicking it, but once you touch it twice, ball's dead.
Right.
And for me, you go up thinking you're about to smash this ball and get a point for your team, and the ball just goes doo-doo, and all your confidence is gone. You know? And that's why I love men's volleyball. And if the U.S. could get men's volleyball, that would be beautiful. Like, it's really a coast-to-coast game right now. There's no, like Kentucky has no men's volleyball teams.
Men's volleyball is not big. I actually have my mom's best friend's son was a men's volleyball player, and he's from Kentucky. He had to go to like a D2 school to play.
Yeah.
Just because there's not a lot of, it's not big around here. So you grew up in California, did you?
So I was raised in New York and California, half and half. I would, like, my New York family calls me Californian, and like, that's fine, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
So they were big in men's volleyball in California.
Yes, bigger because, like I said, we have UCLA, we have UCR, we have, most of our colleges there have a men's volleyball team, and then a lot of the high schools there have men's volleyball, which like I know people from the East Coast play, like, I mean, not all of us, but some play lacrosse. Like, lacrosse is bigger and obviously more wealthy areas. Yeah. But like my area, just, you know, we had courts, we played volleyball, you know.
For sure.
Then from like when I was on basketball, our head coach, Coach Smith, that was his rule. Like, the basketball team played volleyball.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You're using the same muscles.
Yep. And everyone's like, oh, we gotta play volleyball. Why? He goes, y'all wanna have hops, right? What are you doing in volleyball? You're learning to move quickly on your feet and get up as high as you can, as fast as you can. Yeah. And then get back down, move quickly on your feet, and obviously, you know, get back up to strike. Yeah. So it's like, he was like, all right, the whole basketball team, you're playing volleyball.
Most definitely. And
then once that season ended, you're right back in basketball. I mean, it's technically football season, but you know, you're getting ready for basketball season. Right. And it was like, all right, coach, cool. And then it became a thing where, you know, our soccer coach realized, dang, like, these volleyball guys gotta have some quick feet. Yeah. My players in soccer need quick feet. Yeah. Send them to volleyball. Yeah. And we had our coach Freestad. He played at UCR, but he had a lot of games against UCLA. So, like, mind you, he's probably one of my favorite volleyball players ever, just because he was I don't want to say dramatic. He loved the sport so much that, like, he took it down to, like, the minuscule level. Like, for example, one of my favorite drills we did, which people hated it, was he'd have the balls, like, say it's a machine, and it shoots the balls, like, over, like, 90 miles an hour, right? And he was like, if you're going to play volleyball on this team, you're going to learn how to get your feet where you need to be, because obviously if your feet aren't set, you can't pass properly. So the drill was, ball come over, you have to sit the back of the court and then run, put your hands behind your back, and then get the ball under your legs without obviously hitting yourself in the junk. So that was one of the first things we did. It was, all right, line it up. You know, people getting hit in the junk, people getting hit in the stomach, people being afraid. And he's like, it's a ball.
I'm afraid. No.
Yeah, I know, bro. If you're afraid at first, and then you start doing it, you're like, I could do it, you know. And then obviously, like, you have some guys on the team, like, once they, you know, get a couple of years, and they're like, all right, I could do this anytime. Yeah. And then you gotta do it, get hit in the junk, and we all laugh at them because they're dumb. Yeah. And then, like, the second thing, which not my favorite, but it was funny. So the net's right here. He has another machine that shoots the balls at like 110 miles an hour, and we had 100 balls. For the school bought us 100 balls, right? And he's like, all right, I'm tired of you guys being afraid of hits. You know, people hit the ball hard, and people are like dodging it. He got mad after a game. He goes, I'm tired of that. So this thing's gonna be faster than any person's gonna hit it at you. Debatable. Most high school people are gonna hit it at you. Right. Who's staying in front of this thing first? You know, me, I'm the guy that's like, I don't care, whatever. Even though I wasn't really a receiver, like usually middle fronts or quick hitters, when they rotate to the back. So if you play like a 5-1, usually give your a barrel, which is a defensive specialist. Usually got the jersey. Yeah. Usually the middle hitters will switch out and don't play back row, because usually middles can't really, you know, bend it, move as fast as defensive specialists or liberos. But when I first started, I wasn't really good at receiving, so I was a front guy only. Like, he let me serve, so I can serve pretty well. And then, you know, as I got older, obviously I got to play back row, and I was like, oh, look at that, guys, look, I'm rotating the whole thing. Right. Yeah, so this machine's set up, and I'm like, Coach, I don't play back row, but I'm not afraid of a ball. Like it's a ball. It's gonna sting. You're obviously gonna get red. And I'm sitting there and it's just doom, 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 doom. And people on my team are like, well, CJ did it now. I can do it. And, you know, like, we got better as a team based off of, you know, not being afraid.
What? No, for sure.
And then, sadly, travel ball for volleyball. We had a. It was Forza. It was our club there, but like half of us play Forza. So we were like, dude, like, falling in love with volleyball. If I can play it all, you know, all summer, and still have basketball going or whatever other sports. You know, I was on cheer too, which I had no social life in high school. I think about it now, and I'm like, you know, it was worth it, but.
So, well, because I was about to ask, how did you get into cheer? That's what you, for me, we were talking about volleyball this whole time. And
it's a whole different story.
Oh, you feel me? I'm like, man, he loved. So obviously, so now I'm just kind of curious because you obviously have a love for men's volleyball.
Mm-hmm. So
I was just kind of curious. I'm like, why'd you choose cheerleading in college over men's volleyball?
So cheerleading, the way it came to me, so some schools have freshman orientation for like their ninth graders or 10th graders, depending on what time high school starts for you. And at orientation, basically they have like all the sports at the school. And it's, go talk to the coach, get a packet, and, sign up for your sports. Me growing up, I had played football, basketball, soccer for like 14 years. And then I played baseball for like a lot of years too. So I was like, I love baseball too, but learned to love volleyball more. And I had all these packets, and I'm like, all right, you're not going to be the same as everyone else. You're going to try every single sport at your school, go for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then decide which sports you're going to play. That way I could actually find something that I enjoyed or, caught my eye enough. So I'm walking out, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gone. Like, I'm out of here. I got the sports I'm going to try out. And my friend's sister, well, she's my friend too, Sarah Bloom, name dropping you, sorry, get over it. But she like straddles this door, and she's like, you don't have a cheer packet in your hand? And I look at her, and I'm like, yeah. And I try to go past her, and she kind of gets in my way. And I'm like, Sarah, move. And she's like, no, go talk to the coach. So I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. Go talk to the coach, and it's Sarah Peterson. I don't think Mike was there yet. I think I met him, but she was like, oh, I'm Sarah, I'm the new cheerleading coach, which she had came in at the same year I was going to high school, but she had got there, I think, 6 months before I got there, obviously, so they had like some time to get the team like mentally ready for what was going to like be a new change for them, because obviously my school was good before, but they weren't Sarah and Mike Peterson good yet. They were just like, Talkowitz was in high school, hello guys, Talkowitz, TAHQUITZ, which no one says right. But, they weren't like a thing yet. So she's like, hey, this is our cheer team. Like, I'm ready for guys to join. And I'm like, okay, cool. Nice meeting you. Same packets as before. And I go to a different door and I'm about to walk out. Here comes Sarah again. She goes, hey. And she says something that I still use to this day. She goes, come to tryouts. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I won't force you to be there. You know what? I respect that, So I go to tryouts, and, one thing I made her promise though is, hey, your little brother, Alec, which he's my same age, I was like, he has to come too. She was, I'll send him over, whatever. So we're at tryouts, and Coach Sarah walks up to me, and she's like, hey, you know what a male cheerleader does? And I'm like, no. Yell, throw people? She goes, yeah, throw people, exactly. You ain't gotta worry about the other part. I'm like, cool. She goes, you know how to throw people? And I was like, no. So then I get introduced to her little brother, Coach Jason, which Jason's probably about this much taller than me, and I was probably not 6. I was probably 6 foot at that point. So he's probably like 5'10"-ish, But this dude's like no neck, muscle bound boy, like big boy, big boy. And she goes, all right, this is how we do it. And he grabs her waist and he throws a straddle full of QP. That sounds like gibberish to you guys, I know. So straddle means that she splits her legs, obviously. The full up is meaning she spins in a circle, complete spin, and the QP is one hand. So, mind you, never cheered before, never watched cheerleading, any of that. Even though my sister's cheered, I didn't watch them cheer. He grabs her waist, throws her up, bang. And I'm looking at him, and in my head, I'm like, all right, they got me for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, out of my 2 weeks of each sport, I'm gonna be doing this. ended up being the first guy ever in my program, which I was like the first guy within like 50 miles of us kind of thing, which was cool. Cool in the aspect that like I get to start a legacy with them. Like, you know, even now, like I still talk to my high school coaches and call and ask about the team. And sadly, I'm missing high school nationals this weekend. Good luck to you guys if you guys see this. I love you guys all. But you know, I found a home there, you know, and I was the only guy for a while, and even played football, basketball, and volleyball that whole time. You know, my other teammates like, oh, you're gay, like, you know, you're with this, you're not about that life, like, you're weak. Mind you, like, my freshman year, I was starting running back for my team.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I'm not like I'm not even a small dude now, you know, like, I'm not weak, like, I'm still going cracky. Like, I have one of my best friends now, Devin Howard, every day in classes, man, bro, like, we're in class, chilling, you're chill, you're gay. I'm like, all right, bet. And my football coaches, I'm so glad they did this. We did an Oklahoma drill every single beginning of every practice. That way, if any of the boys had beef, you handled it, and then you had practice. So coaches, all right, everybody put your helmets on, put your gear on. Who you calling out? And every single day. I want Devin Howard, coach. He's our quarterback. And mind you, being the running back, I was actually a middle linebacker too. And they're like, why you keep fucking up our quarterback, dog? Like, you know, every practice you can lay this dude out. But I was like, Devin, like, every time you talk, I'm gonna smack you.
Right, absolutely.
So then one day we're in the locker room, you know, getting changed, and this dude's like, all right, CJ, bro, like, will you stop hitting me, bro? Like, stop calling me out for Oklahomas. And I'm like, the day you stop talking about me, you know, talking me wrong, especially the cheer stuff, like, is the day I'm gonna stop smacking you or calling you out.
Yeah.
And then that day at practice, calling him out at Oklahomas. Next day at school, nothing. And since then, we've been like cool, we've been boys, we always hanging out and stuff, which, you know, the cheer aspect, I'm like, dude, like, it was just something I tried, man. I wasn't in that.
Yeah.
You know, and then the next guy we got was during camp, one of the girls was dating the mascot. And they were like, oh, the mascot's now required to come to camp. You know, and it was a home camp meeting, like we stayed in our school, kind of did everything in there. And I was like, Juan, like, you're gonna be here this whole time, dog. You might as well just learn how to throw people while you're here. Like, it's that simple. So then he joined on, and it became me and him. And then one of the football boys joined on, and we slowly just started, you know, grabbing people from everywhere. We ended up having everyone, like, same thing with like the volleyball and basketball thing I was talking about, ended up being everyone from every sport was just joining cheer randomly. You know, we had one of our fastest guys on the team, on the football team, Tim Neely. Like, I tell you, this dude's freak athlete. Probably still can dunk. He's like 5'4", like fast, like probably a 4 flat still. Benching like 400 in high school. Like, dude was an anomaly. And he was like, hey, so what time's cheer practice? I was like, hey, bro, come on. Yeah, bringing everybody down. And then, you know, my coach is very accommodating too. She's like, if you're going to play a different sport, you know, I think our practice was like 7 to 9 p.m., which, you know, for most teams that works because most, you know, school teams practice early. Yeah. So most of us, she'd understand, you know, if the team's stretching and we just came from football, basketball, or any other practice, you know, we don't have to stretch. We are already warm. We just came from running and doing other stuff. And she was feeding us, taking care of us. And she allowed us to gain more things, you know? Mm-hmm. And, you know, being the first guy and being like the first sets of guys, which people don't realize now because they have all these, you know, resources around them. Like, I was learning things, you know, learning things from my coach. And then Coach Mike would throw the girls and try to teach them that. And then he'd be like, all right, y'all figure it out now. Yeah. You know? And then it became, you know, once I got a year in the program, I was like, all right, CJ, you get the worst girl, man, figure it out. You got to bring her up to our standards. Yeah. And then as we got more guys, it was, all right, all the good guys. And it's like that now, but in college it changed a little bit. It was like, you're going to get these girls to our standards, and then you're going to give them away. You know, like, you're going to get this girl to the right standard, and cool, you got her there. You got a new project, kind of thing, which, as a stunter, and center being the guy that throws the girls, obviously. I mean, not obviously, but cheer, obviously. Yeah. That makes you grow. Like, people nowadays, like, oh, I want the smallest girl to do this cool stuff. Yes, if I'm going to compete for our stunt, I want the smallest girl, tightest girl, fastest girl. Yeah. But my teammates aren't going to all be that. You know, that's the best part. Yeah. We got to use, like, we're going to need mid-layers. Mid-layers being the person in the middle of the pyramid to catch the smaller girls, or we call them tippies. And I don't want to say smaller. You guys are all small. Get over it. But, you know, we need some stronger girls to catch some other girls. So, like, they're just as talented, mind you. Like our tippies might be easier to throw at the very top, but our mid layers are still doing elites. Elites being the harder skills that we do, like the flipping and multiple spinning skills.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially at Morehead, like you come, bro. You got the M on your chest, you're set. Like, and that's what I tell people all the time. Like at nationals, people are nervous, and I'm like, "What are you nervous for?" And they're like, "Oh, it's nationals," or even like performances. "Oh, well, I'm nervous." I'm like, "Can you feel that thing in your chest? Like you're wearing it already, right?
Yeah.
It already says Morehead, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You did it. Like you did. Like this. The hard part
is over.
Isn't competing. The hard part is telling yourself that you're already ready and that you can do it."
Yeah.
And even at nationals, like the seven mats, right? Yeah, 7 mats, right? I tell them all the time, like, those don't change.
Yeah.
We practice in our practice room with 7 mats, right? We have the crowd, like we have the best all world team in the nation, the best cities in the land. Like we have, now we have Snowhead, now we have 3 teams. We already have an audience, and when you walk on the floor, the mat doesn't change.
Yeah.
The people around you that are on the mat with you don't change.
Yeah.
And like I told our exchange student this year, that was another sidebar. After day 1, he comes to me, he was like, "Man, when we practice, like, we practice walking on the floor. And when you walk on the floor, like I can tell you, I do my, since my grandfather passed and as people pass, I always do, my heart, my mouth, and I go up and I give them 3 points. And this is for, like I told you earlier, like my friends that are passed, my grandfather passed, and basically every time I'm on the mat, it's for them because some of them never watched me do any of this. So like, I'm doing it for all these people that didn't get the chance to go out and do it.
Yeah.
But after I do that, I can look ahead in front of me and I can see her now. Like I see Hope, Hope. Hope's always throwing up a heart, and she throws up love and sign language, or I love you in sign language. And then Devin is right there next to me, and she goes like this, like none of that peace stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's all the people. So we're used to seeing those, couple of people every time I walk out.
Yeah.
So Antonio's like, "Hey man, like day 1, I walked out looking for those people and they weren't there." Like, some people get, stage fright. They're like, "Oh, I'm calming myself down with that person." And what I told him was, "Forget about that." He goes, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "You see the crowd of blue, right?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, all those people that you see when you walk out want you to do great. And I was like, the better part about that is even past those people, there's people that can't wear blue because they'll get in trouble with the organization. They want you to do great. You hear the people in the crowd that are screaming head, Morehead, they want you to do great. Even the people that are our enemies or our rivals, they want us to do good. Like if you believe in cheerleading the way that should be, is you want the team against you to do their hardest routine and hit everything and make everything clean, and then your team goes out and do everything hard and do everything clean, and you beat them because you were just better. You did harder skills. You did better baskets. You did better tumbling, and that's what I believe in cheerleading. Like some people go out and they're like, "Oh, I hope the other team drops." No. Like same thing in football. You want them to be like, "Oh, you won that game because our main quarterback was hurt." No, I want to be like, your main quarterback was in, your star players were in, and we ran down your throat the entire game and we stopped your offense. Yeah. But
the best players on.
Yeah, come on. We win best for best. And that's what it is. And like being in Kentucky, man, like you have UK, obviously, like everyone knows about UK. That's a dynasty of its own. They're going for number 25 now. Excuse me. They're in the D1A division, which kind of sucks them being in a different division than us. But we're separated by funding. Like, if more could get some money, then we would obviously be able to go up to a different level. But you have them in D1A, and they're going. They're very talented athletes. Being part of that program, like it's a heart and a soul thing. And then you got Morehead. Like even me, like I didn't even know what Morehead was when I was in UK.
Sure.
And then hour away. How you not know about this thing's hour away? So you go an hour away. You have Morehead, which is, and even other teams that have multiple teams there, like all-girl and co-ed. We have small ed. There's nothing like this place. Like it. Like you've been to other schools. You know it too. Like you've been around other schools. There's nothing. Even though it's a middle of nowhere little dump in Daniel Boone National Forest, there's something that keeps bringing people back, and there's a family aspect that you just never get rid of. But, you know, coming here and you learn about the Doan dynasty, which Myron Doan, thank you for everything you've ever done, and thank you for my alumni, and we say FTOBU, which is for the ones before us. So, you know, every time you go out on the mountain, you go do something, you gotta think about the people that did before you. Like, they set the legacy. Like co-ed, SMOED, and all-girl just won their national titles this year, and we made it to 53 national titles for the program.
Yeah.
Which,
hey, congrats on that.
Thank you.
By the way, that's fire. That's fire. I
Yes.
want to give you give my manager a full shout out. I wish I had a freaking button and I can make a clap sound. But that's amazing. A national championship, congrats after all the things you've been through.
yes.
The journey, we'll talk about all that, but not you for me. That's congrats, but that's fire.
Thank you. I want to shout out to AGB, man. Like, they went out there and killed it. And this year, like I said, we had 3 teams. So our practice schedule was something new that we've never had before. Shout out to our coaches, Mark, Kayla, Raven, Riley, and Ian. Yeah, Ryan, give me a shout out to you. Welcome, bro. But they worked their butts off, and, you know, having 3 teams, 2-hour practices, two times a day, every day, what is that, like 12 hours a day you're coaching cheerleading?
Yeah.
Which, if that was me, I'd be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a lot.
shout out to them for going through that and pushing us harder. And, you know, like I was saying, all girl, they usually go first when we compete. So all girl went out for day 1, did great. Day 2, you know, we're like, all right, what's this day gonna be like? What are we gonna do out there? They went out, smacked 13. You know, obviously we're on the floor cheering for them. They smacked 13. Then they had awards, and it was, who's the national championship? Who's the national champions? All girl Moorhead. And we're all, you know, I posted on my Instagram, I was crying, man, like, because I've seen that program do the best they're supposed to do, and the judges not like it, or the judges be biased, or like, you know, they didn't get the ending result that they deserved, you know. And I've watched that for a couple of years now. It kind of hurt every single time, especially, you know, when you get off the floor, you're like, oh, I'm the national champion, yeah. And then, or right before you even go on, like, remember our first year, literally right before we went on, like 2 seconds before, someone walked up and was like, hey man, Uncle lost. And we all looked at each other, we're like, what are we gonna do? And it was literally, everyone goes, this is for our girl. We're not, this routine is for them. It's not even for us. We're going out for them. Like, this is about the smack because we have to do it for them.
Right.
You know, you win. And like my first year I went at Moorhead, took my medal off immediately and gave it to Abby Lawson. I was like, you guys deserve that. Because they hit the routine. Like, they smacked the routine, and the judges just weren't with it, you know. And sometimes that happens. Like, it is a subjective sport to an extent. So it's like, if you got some people that, you know, especially when you're Moorhead, like, you could go out as Moorhead and hit everything and make a small mistake, right? And the other team hits, you know, everything but 2. They have like 2 actual drops. But because it's Moorhead, you're already on this pedestal, and you have to hit that pedestal for them to even want you to win, kind of thing. You make a mistake, and like, Moorhead's done. But I digress. You know, I'll just keep going these veins, man. That's just.
I guess, yeah.
But watching all girl win, and then we had SMOED go out next. Like our small co-ed team.
Wait, so what's smart? Because this is new.
Yes, this is very new.
What is this?
So we have all girl and co-ed, which, you know, usually that's our teams. Like, we have the co-ed routine, which is, you know, I think now they have 20, so it's 10 guys and girls, and then you have all girl. Now this year we had a special thing where, I mean, it's always been a division, we just haven't done it.
Like Moorhead has not done it.
Moorhead, this is the first year Moorhead has done SMOED, and they came out and rocked it out.
Okay.
So now we take I wouldn't say leftovers, that sounds bad. We take our other members that aren't on the main teams, and now we've created a different team. So now you have members of all girl and members of co-ed people for the first time in the history of Moorhead getting to be on a team.
Yeah.
Going back by them, sidebar again, but it makes me happy every time thinking about it. They get to say FTOAU, you know, like our FTOBU before us, the one before us, but they get to say for the ones after us because they're the first. Like, they get to start a legacy, and they started a legacy. Like,
facts.
And shout out to all those guys and gals. Like, they went out there second until us, like, no, second right after all girl. They went out and killed their routine, hit everything. And then you went to their awards. Mind you, I don't know how this got perfectly set up like this. Like, you know, usually it's like you compete, they compete, and then you have awards later. But this year they kind of chopped it up a little bit different. So it was all girl competed, awards. SMOED competed, awards. Hold on. Did SMOED just win?
Yeah.
Bet. Go ahead, now all you gotta do is go out and clean it up. Like, so, you know, and mind you, like, on co-ed, you know, we try to be serious, but you know me, like, you know, all people I ain't in we're game time ready people, you know, like before then we're relaxed, cool minded, like even backstage warming up, like in our 10-minute warm up. So basically, our true warm ups go is for college at least, you get your time on the warm up mat, which you get 10 minutes to do anything you need to do, and then you basically walk on this tunnel, and teams are just going, and they go, all right, your turn, go, kind of thing. So you get 10 minutes to like warm up everything you need to do.
Yeah.
In our 10-minute warm up, we have this song, El Sonidito by the Cheers Band. I can't think of the name anymore, but anyways, El Sonidito, which is like a party song, and that's in our 10-minute warm up at the very end. Like once you finish doing your kind of warm ups and stuff, we have that song. We're all just dancing around, and you know, everybody's picking people up and doing stupid stuff. Yeah. And you got everyone else that's actually like, you know, we gotta focus for the 10 minutes. We gotta make it all happen. And you see Moorhead dancing, you know. But we go out there after that, and you know, walking up to the like the actual opening of the castle, you know, Disneyland's castle. Yeah. So you walk under that before you perform. And Mark, day one, yeah, it's fire. Like you like literally, you don't see anything because all you see is like this black wall, and they go, all right, you're on, and you turn, and it's all these lights, the blue swarm of people in the middle, and then literally a crowd of people, just, you know, like I said, hoping that you good. In my head, that's how I think about it. You know, there's obviously some haters up there, but what you gonna do about it? And mind you, it's not like one row. It's I think it's like 3 rows in there. So it's one row full of people, second row full of people, upper deck can't even really see you full of people. Yeah. And then everyone's obviously cheering, you know, head and more head for us. You know, everybody's head and more head, and that's the best part for me, at least, because you take this, you can hear it before you go out there. You know, it's a quiet room, and people are kind of like, all right, you know, whatever, you know, announcements. And then one person in the crowd, like usually an alumni or somebody from a team, will just start it, because it starts from one person, obviously. And it's head and more head, and you hear everyone in the cheer room, like, you know, cheer people, head and more head, and you hear the crowd start saying it, and you're just like this, you see nothing. And then you turn around and you keep hearing it, and you see all the people just screaming head and more, and you're like, all right, bet, like, it's game over. I've already won here. Yeah. And once I go out there, I just gotta do what I know how to do. Yeah, that's crazy part for me. And then even on warm-ups, like, I'm gonna explain our warm-up process. Steal it if you want to. It's not gonna change anything. It's not gonna change anything. The fact that we're not gonna change our warm-up. So what do we do? Basically, whatever you want in the IME. IME is the intermediate stunt. So think about like our regular full-ups. So we always have one of those in routine, and then I think it should be IME and an ending pyramid. Pyramids being when you stack all the girls on top of each other. Your ending pyramid usually doesn't have to be your hardest pyramid, but you want to have like some type of like banger scale in there. This year we did shotgun full twisting rewinds, which means that she's in an extension with me. I power press her down, throw her. She does a flip and a spin, and then she lands on another girl, or another 2 girls, because they did an A-frame meet. I'm explaining how much cheer stuff. A-frame meeting that 2 girls have their legs up like this. Yeah. And basically she lands like that. And I don't know if you've seen the video, but our girl said, think, like nothing. And I was like, bet, you know? So then second time through is, oh no, I lied. I totally just lied. The first time you have to do the cheer. As much as, so our cheer, which you could call it like what we do at game day, basically, like, you know, yelling and stuff, but we have all the harder elements. Like, we're doing skills in that. Like, we're not just sitting there yelling in the crowd. We're doing other skills. I totally forgot about the cheer. So we do cheer, and then we do our ending baskets. We're not ending baskets, our ending pyramids. After that one, no cheer, right? And you do whatever you want. Usually, I have my stunt partners that we do our first elite, being our first like hard sequence to do. We do that, and then when we get to the cheer, because we're all lazy, no one says the cheer, and we always say, because he goes, let's go MSU to start it, and we always, no, we're not doing it. Let's go to the IME, you know, go do the IME, and then we walk off. Third time through, it's whatever you want. If you're feeling uncomfortable about something, or you need to just like party it out or throw another basket or pyramid, I think we did our first pyramid that time too, but we did our first pyramid day 2, so we're doing second pyramid, and then mom looks around, you guys good? All right, cool. Then you have your tumble song, which anyone has a tumbling routine, usually warms up their tumbling. Like we have people that have like elite passes, so they have to do like harder stuff for tumbling wise, and they warm up that stuff, and then right after that, you know, everybody's looking around, I look at Mark, and I see everyone's done tumbling, I'm like, do it. And he's playing this song, and he's doom, 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 and everybody starts partying.
Yeah.
Which, that in its own, man, is something special. Like, I can remember each year at Moorhead, like, we've had a dance party every year. Like, my first year, I think my first year was the worst. Worst in a good way, you know? Yeah. Whereas, mind you, the teams, if you already went, you're supposed to be gone. You're supposed to be, like, in the stands watching. We had, like, 10 teams full of people back there dancing with us. One of my boys had plugged his phone up in the speaker that was across the room, so he's bumping all this music, and the people that were like the staffers were like, you can't play that in here, and I was just like, he don't go here, dog. Like,
yeah,
he don't go here.
Yeah,
he just came, and you're gonna kick him out. That's that. But
we're just here.
Yeah, we're here. I'm not gonna stop dancing. Music's still playing, you know. So we had that, and then we went out and performed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I said, most teams are, you know, stone faced, and they're anxious about what they're gonna do. And you know, Mark always says, what does he say? It's like when you're anxious, it's like that fight or flight. You know, you can either be humbled by the things that come to you, or you can say, no, I'm gonna pick my chin up and keep going. You know, and you gotta learn to like cut the scared part out. You can't be scared. Like I said earlier, you're doing it with that team anyways. There's no reason for you to be scared. Like, go out and know what you're gonna do. One of our alumni, Mel B, that's what everyone calls her, Mel B. I was hearing her talk to her high school team not too long ago, and she said something that I was like, whoa, like, I'm gonna start using that on my kids. You know, they were backstage warming up, and she goes, everybody get over here. And like, she had a certain voice, and she was like, you guys know you hit, right? And they're like, what do you mean? Like, we haven't gone out yet. And I was like, no, like, I've already seen it.
Yeah.
Have y'all not seen it? Like,
yeah.
You're not mentally there yet? And, you know, everyone got quiet, and they were like, wait a minute. I can see it, yeah, like, it's already there. And all the girls, you know, literally, you could see in their faces, they were like kind of shaking up, and then once you said that, and they could see themselves, they were like, bet, I'm about that. So then, you know, that's something that confidence-wise is killing it.
Yeah. It's like, it's in life too, because I go through life, and now I like to sit on Zillow, just look at houses, or like when I'm driving around, look at big houses, and you gotta envision yourself there before you get there, and make it having the confidence in everything that you're doing to get to like, yeah, but I see this coming, I know it's coming, for sure. No, that's fine.
That completely. What did Tyler Creator say? He said, enjoy right now today.
Yeah. It's
one of the songs. And literally that song's just talking about like having that mindset to go conquer.
Yeah.
But also like something bad's always gonna happen in your life. You know, Murphy's Law. You could take that and be like, oh, it's a bad day. Or you could be like, it's still a great day. Like, I'm still alive, I'm still breathing. I still got people around me that are alive, people I can care about now.
Yeah.
And even when they pass, man, like I said, my grandpa earlier, he passed, but he was in pain, bro. Like, he had cancer, he was, you know, fading away. He wasn't himself as much anymore.
Yeah, facts.
But once he passed, you're like, oh, he's gone. Like, there's no more pain.
Yeah.
There's no more deterioration. He's probably up here right now laughing, you know, or
yeah, for sure.
Wherever he's at. Wherever he's at, he's somewhere laughing. You know?
No, for sure.
But it's like same thing in life, man. Like, I've started writing in my mirrors in my room or my bathroom. Like, one says, find peace, you know, because I'm too old to be upset anymore. Yeah. Too old to be angry at people. So it's find peace, and then smile, share a smile.
Yeah.
And smile, obviously, if you can tell yourself to smile, you can release dopamine and be happy. And then share a smile. Like, I told someone the other day about this. They're like, why are you always talking to people you don't know? Like, why are you always, you know, messing with people? And I was like, because, like, you don't know how anyone's feeling that day. You know if they're planning on, and it's kind of dark, but planning on, killing themselves.
No, that's
and I was like, what if I'm the person that, randomly made a joke to you, and now that I made that joke, you smiled and you released some dopamine and you kind of feel better. Like, I can hold out one more day.
Yeah.
And I feel like if everyone stopped being, we had COVID, so like 6 feet away, stay back. But if everyone could just not share the mentality, but share the lifestyle of going out of your way for other people and trying to help them out, make them smile. You can tell when someone's upset. Like, even if you don't know them, you can tell like something's wrong. Like, get somebody a poke one day. Like, and if you got some money, you get some extra money, man. Like I tell everyone, like on team, go buy water. And when I say that, I mean like, what? I mean, water is getting pricey now. I think it's like $5 for a pack of 40 or whatever it is, like at Sam's Club. But go buy some water, put it in your trunk. If you see some homeless people on the side, if you got time to buy them food, buy them food. You always have time to be like, hey man, I got some water. Like, if we all can just help each other, that would literally solve
a lot of issues,
90 of the problems. And if we decide letting these corporations take control of us, like, if I'm gonna be real, like, like a different state.
That's 1,000. That's 1,000.
If that's their job, like, even, and I'm gonna bring back slavery to this, like, the job of the slave master, I can't think of the guy that wrote the book for that, but it was, hey, you have this group of people, yet there's more of them than you.
Yeah.
But if you can figure out how to divide them and take their power mentally from them and make them fight each other, you'll never have a problem for yourself.
Never.
And that's what we're doing now in our modern day. Like, I have a teacher, my favorite professor at Moorhead, Kiffmeyer, and he's always talking about history, and it's always, we get laws that are we laws, right? And then we get laws that are we laws. Like, public accommodation laws. We want everyone to have access to everything in the public. And now it's becoming like, why don't trans people have a bathroom? And it's like, okay, well then make every bathroom gender neutral. Mind you, I have 7 sisters, and this might get me canceled, but like, I feel kind of weird about that. At first I was like, oh man, like, I don't want some creepy dude in the bathroom with my sister, man. It makes me feel weird. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, wait a minute. Not trying to offend anybody. Say if they still have their male parts or whatever, and they identify as a woman, and they fully believe they're a woman, why do I care? If they want to go use the bathroom, like, you tell me you never had to pee so bad you went to the women's bathroom. Imagine you not getting in trouble for that, like it just being a bathroom. Mind you, it'll all be stalls, everyone should be safe. And on the standpoint, say if that guy wants to be identified as a girl, that could just be one more person protecting our ladies in the bathroom. And the guy's side, like, I don't care. Like, when we're in there, are we looking at each other? No, we're using the bathroom. So it should be something that smooth. It's another detour left over here. But yeah, dude, they try to separate us in so many different ways. Like, how about we all stack together? And when I say stack, I don't know, make some money together. Put your money together, buy some land, and use that land to better us. And the people that know what I'm talking about were us. I'm talking to all y'all. It's us.
Every one of us. It's us versus them.
Yeah.
For sure. All of us is us.
It's money versus no money. If you say you got money, but you're not making billions, you don't got money.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I know you're talking about recruiting earlier. So
So how did you, you chose, I feel like we stood in, you chose cheerleading.
Yes.
Over men's volleyball and other sports.
I really answer that.
You going into college.
I went all the way around it.
Going into college and like, so where did you, did you come to Moorhead first?
No, I went to UK first.
That's what I thought, yeah. So how did that happen? So how did you choose cheerleading first, and how did you?
Okay, dude, I took a whole hour away from this story. So the reason I chose cheerleading, so mind you, I played all these sports and I loved all these sports, right? But I mean, you probably feel the same. Football doesn't get different, right? It's just you get stronger, faster. You don't really change plays. The same plays they've been running for the last 100 years, they're gonna keep running, right? And it's just gonna be stronger, faster, and maybe, wiser coaches for picking plays. Whereas cheerleading is never going to stop evolving. It's a sport where literally your hardest skill one year, like it'll be like, you say it's like, it'll be a hardest skill in 2016, right? Let's say that's a diamond, which is, it's technically a transition, whatever, don't go over that. But basically it's a hand-to-hand, but as the girl comes up, she does like a half spin, right? So she's facing the front and she does a half spin, lands. There was only really 2 teams doing it, Team USA wasn't even doing it yet before UK was doing it. And if I'm wrong, get over it. But, you fast forward 3-4 years and everyone's doing down with us. Like, I couldn't tell you a team that hasn't tried doing it or can't learn them kind of thing, because we all evolving, right? And obviously people like me that travel everywhere, or people like, any Moorhead people, UK people, Louisville, I didn't talk about Louisville with WKU, but like they'll travel out. And like I said, that big group chat, we're going to teach people when we go out, or people are going to teach us stuff, or UCF or Bama, whatever. Don't get me mad for this, or West Georgia, wherever it is. We're going out and teaching stuff. So it's going to always evolve, you know?
Yeah.
There's going to be, you know, some guys going to be like, hey, like, anyone ever done this? And people go back and watch cheerleading routines, and you got to go back and look at the USASF rules and see if it's legal first off, most times. Most times you learn something that's illegal and then it becomes legal later on because people are doing it. Yeah, so then it always changes, you know. And with cheerleading, it's not about, oh, I can do this skill with this one girl. It's, hey, that girl graduated. We got this new girls that came in from wherever they came. Now can you do it with her?
Right. And
mind you, we're adding harder skills every year. So it's, okay, you can do this skill. We'll do the harder version with this new girl. She has another shit. You got summer. Figure it out. You know, and you have to add the other girls on the team, like, and it's not just, hey, I have to do it with this one girl because I know that's my partner. You don't know who your partner is. You better find every single person on the team and do it with everyone. And once you get figured out with everyone, then we go, all right, what's the best match? So that's me picking cheer over everyone.
Yeah.
Now me going to UK, like I said, Sarah Peterson, like my favorite person, my favorite coach in the world. Can say flat down. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, Michael. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, Jomo. Sorry, all the coaches. Sorry, Mike also, and Jason, and everyone else that ever coached me. But she said it's my favorite because that was my first. You know, that's like second mom kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But one day I'm sitting with her. I think it's like my sophomore year of high school. So like I'm still not even good at cheer or anything. And I was like, hey, Coach Sarah, if there was one school you wish you had cheered at, because you know she had some opportunities to get taken away from her when she was younger, where would you have cheered? And she goes, University of Kentucky, hands down. I said, okay, bet, I'm going there. Literally. And then senior year, it was the only school I applied to. It was the only school I sent all my work to. And I got invited up. I didn't get invited up. I paid for it, or my mom helped me out. My mom did it. It was my mom. She paid for me to go to Kentucky and go to a clinic, you know, we throw clinics here at Moorhead. And I met the guys.
All right, well, so you can continue, but that's where my recruiting questions start. So we'll continue.
So recruiting wise, yeah. So I get there and I go to the clinic, and at the end, Jomo's like, "Hey, we'd like to see you at tryouts." So then I'm like, "Dude, like I'm getting myself set up, you know." And then at nationals, my senior year, I get mail. My mom brings it down from our house, and she brings the mail up, and she goes, "Hey, open this." Literally, I open it, and it's my acceptance letter for UK school. So I'm like, dude, I made it into school. You know, the coach wants me to come to tryouts. Let's see where it goes. You know, I try out, make the team. And I'm like, I did it. Like I told my coach I was going to do it. Yeah. And first step, done. You know, make the team. You know, making school and all that stuff. And then now, like, as someone that's been in the game for a little bit, recruiting wise, it's open. Like, people are scared to go to Moorhead or scared to go to UK. Like, oh, I'll never make it. But I tell everyone all the time, like, I'm the only dude from within like 60 miles or 100 miles-ish where I'm from that made it to UK, you know? I had one teammate that was from California. Yeah. And she wasn't even taking me on the team when I was there. She was there before me, and she came from a gym, I think like 70 miles away. She's a girl. So like dude-wise, yeah, I couldn't tell you the last that came before me that was, you know, from California, that area. Recruiting-wise though, it's like, you know, now we have social media, so it's way easier now, I would say. You know,
so how does it work? It's not like football or basketball where you get offers to come to the school or college. So you do. Mm-hmm. So I thought, this is how I understood it at first, was you would go to the clinics, and then that's how you would get spotted, and then they would hand you a tryout. And then that's how you go. That's how I thought it was. So I was always confused.
No, that's also actually that's part of it.
Okay.
But then you have, like I said, high school nationals is going on. That's the, you know, all the high schoolers going on. And usually we send a group that's like to go out and be Moorhead's like face, and then we go out and like there's this thing called the football field at Disney Resort Sports, and everyone basically warms their teams up there, and you kind of like, it's kind of like showboating time. Like when you're ready for nationals, even more like we go out there and practice, and it's not because we need to practice, it's because like, you're here, it's time to start intimidation. You go out there, hit your stuff, and now the team's thinking, dang, like, Moorhead's about to hit. Or if you're in high school, it's, you go out there, hit your stuff, it's dang, like, my school's gonna hit. Like, I'll say, Taquas is gonna go out there, and they're gonna be like, all right. Like, Sarah even tells them, like, when we get there, like, I mean, probably now it's different because I wasn't flying out when I was on the team. They probably get the conversation, hey, you're on this plane. Now it's intimidation. You know you're going to be a champion. You know you're going to get your stuff. You know you're going to be great. So go out there and know that. So you go out on the football field and you do all this stuff, and people see you. You know, like some people come from better schools because they're not happy. Some people come from worse schools because they want to learn more. Some people just, a lot of people come around and they're like, dude, Moorhead's vibe and more like the Moorhead cheerleaders, they're just different. Like they're not at each other's necks. They're not trying to like, boss each other around. They're just there having fun. And some teams literally go out for nationals and don't have fun. So they're like, I'm gonna go try out for Moorhead, or I'm gonna come around. And then some people are like, hey, like, I see you, doing this on the football field, like, can we stunt? Sure, I'll throw you around, throw people around. They're like, oh, like, sometimes I don't have my stuff on. I'm like, where school do you go to? Oh, I'm at Moorhead, man. Oh, I've heard about them, or I haven't heard about them. Where's that at? Oh, it's nowhere, Kentucky. And they're like, oh, like, so is it really hard to make the team? And I tell them, like, the requirements, the dead honest requirements for the team is guys have a tuck. Literally be working on a tuck. Please work on a tuck. If you don't have one, you can still make it if you're strong in the other aspects. Everyone has to do the fight song, which obviously you've seen us do the fight song games. And I say tuck, but I should say tucks because we have this thing we do at Moorhead. It's 10 tucks, and it's 10 tucks in 36 seconds. It sounds crazy, but if you think about an 8 counter, it's you shrug 5, 6, 7, go 1, you land, you shrug 5, 6, 7, go 1. You kind of do it 10 times. You do your tumbling, obviously standing, and I guess it's already tumbling sometimes, but you have to do standing tumbling and running tumbling if you have it, and then you have to do stunts. We like everyone to have toss stretch at least, which is you toss the girl off, she pulls one leg and kind of pulls it out. That's in our fight song, and we have to do our fight song at the tryout. So try to have the skills we need, and then full up if you can get that. But some people come to Moorhead and they don't have any of that stuff, But I always tell people, like, if you're willing to do the work, we will get you there. Like I said earlier, like we have to grab some of the girls that aren't ready and we make them get there. Like not make them, but forcing them, but we're working with them until they get there. Same thing with guys. Like I remember, especially if you're a tumbler boy and you have tumbling and you're like, oh, I can't stunt, I can't go to Moorhead. No, come. If you already know how to flip, which I think is the harder aspect of cheerleading is learn how to flip and spin your body around, same thing. Come to Moorhead. I will teach you, we will teach you, anyone will teach you how to stunt. We will figure it out and you will get better at stunting. There's even like guys like I shot him out, Dylan. He was an okay stunner, he kind of could do stuff. But he had tumbling like back pocket kind of thing. And we told him like, hey, like you weren't going to be on mat, like you won't be at nationals first year, just keep working. And I would tell everyone this, work your IME skills. IME being like the basic, like straight up spinning skills. Like if you can do it to any body position, meaning like whether it's stretch lib, QP, or it's not body position, but stretch lib, air bass, torch, all that kind of stuff, and work your hands and manipulate people easily, the harder stuff you do is easy because your hands are going to work it, So I tell people all the time, you do your IME skills, and like even if you're private with someone, you're paying someone for a private, which is a private lesson obviously, make them do basic with you. Like, cause some people are just doing privates with dudes and they're like, oh, he's really good for me, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, all right, because me as a coach, like if I do a private, I tell my private town, I'm like, hey, we're gonna do IME skills until you prove to me that you're ready for harder skills. Now, mind you, some parents want us to just rush into the harder stuff because maybe they can get the IME stuff back at home. And what I always tell them is, if you rush into the harder stuff, all it's gonna make you do is go back and learn that anyways.
For sure.
So I'd rather we take the time now and learn all the little aspects of it, so then we go to the harder stuff, we can do it in the first try, Whereas like I've had kids where their parents say, oh, well, I want them doing this new cool stunt I saw on Instagram. And I'm like, I can do it with your daughter. It's gonna take us, 3 privates, 50 tries, whatever it is, and take that much time where I could teach her how to hold her body straight and how to squeeze her body. And if you want her to do that skill, I call it homework for my kids. I give them workouts to do at home. Like a good thing for hand hands, I'm thinking about hand hands right now, but I give them a skill for hand hands or drill for hand hands. And I'm like, hey, if you can do this every day 5 times, I promise next time you come in the gym, the skill that you want is gonna be easy. It won't be something we're trying 50 times. It'll be, oh, this feels like that drill you told me to do. Come on, smack it. Versus, hey, I'm gonna rush and get this new skill so I can look cool on Instagram. Like that's the other problem. Like we have, recruiting people. It's really hard to recruit from Instagram. It's easy but hard. Hard in the aspect that you could throw something really, really cool one time and never do it again in your life, and easy in the aspect of, hey, I saw this guy do this thing one time and he posted it on Instagram. Let's bring him more head, or have him come down and we'll figure it out if he can actually do it, or if he can be molded. Because obviously if you did it once, you can do it again.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
It's how consistent can you be with that? So can we bring some girls in? Like, we always have really good girls. Like, can we figure that out with them? And then Mark does a really good job of recruiting. Like, he's texting people in this country, out of this country. He's always DMing people. People obviously contact him, and then the athletes themselves. Like, I couldn't tell you how many people like swipe up my story or something. Like, even when I'm not posting, like, me, I really don't post on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I'll get tagged in something, and someone's like, "Hey, I saw you in that video. You go to Moorhead, right?" "Yeah, I go to Moorhead." "Well, tell me about it." "Cool. It's this place." And anything you ask me, I'll tell you. Like, you want the truth, and I tell people all the time, like, you're a parent, and you want the truth, come to me. I'll tell you what's up. Like, and even like some of the kids from my high school, not all of us can afford to leave. Not all of us can leave, and I'll tell them, like, hey, going to JUCO is not a problem. Because if you need that, and that's gonna help you get, like, and the main thing here is school. Like, we want school. If you're gonna be able to pay for your schooling with cheer, but a JUCO is gonna help you get there, fine. There's wonderful programs, JUCO wise. Like, for example, there's Shelton State, there's Jones, Navarro, Trinity Valley, which I'm saying Navarro, Trinity Valley. Not mad at you guys, but the cheer show, everyone knows about them now because of the cheer show. But there's all these amazing JUCO schools that will get you ready to go to Moorheads and get you ready to go to UK's, Westerns, Louisville's, Alabama's, West Georgia's. Like, they feed straight into us, obviously. But money-wise, like I said, not everyone can do it, and that's a good route. And example, cheerleading, recruiting-wise, like, when I was in high school, I tell the guys all the time, cheerleading is 98% girls, or I should say women, whatever they want to be called. And I digress from that. 2% guy. So we're getting scholarship. Like, it's like, where you go, you're gonna get a scholarship just because you're a guy and you have the potential to grow into more. So like all my friends that I play football with, I was like, hey guys, like, let's do the math real quick. You could be the top in our school. Are you the top in the region? Probably not. You the top in the state? Probably not. Or I should say county, or whatever it is. Probably not, right? And think about how many U's there are in this country.
Thanks.
And I'm like, you could probably get a good scholarship. Like, I have a pretty decent scholarship, football-wise. And it's like, are you really going to use that? And, every football player's goal, I'm going to go to the NFL, which, if you're going to work your work your butt off and get there, I salute you. But also, like, let's play the game of odds, man. let's figure it out. And if your goal is school, come on down cheerleading. Like, figure out cheerleading, and you don't have to be the biggest or best. Like I said, we'll teach you. Like, you'll get there with us, so you can get your schooling paid for. Same thing with girls. Like, like I said, 90% girls, so it's a little bit harder for them. But also, like, if you think you got it, like, go try it out. And the thing about girls wise is, it's not just co-ed. You don't have just co-ed. You have all girl. Like, some people are, terrible all girl cheerleaders, and they transfer over to co-ed, and co-ed people teach them how to do certain things this way, and they might not even like co-ed, right? But they learned it, and they're getting good at it, and they transfer back to all girl, and they're great. Some people are not that good at co-ed, and they transfer to all girl, and they're doing great. They're all-star. You have all these options where you can move back and forth, or you can move to where you need to be. Like, at Moorhead, like, there's people that try out for the all girl team and make the all girl team, and just don't end up being the best at all girls time, and they go over co-ed, and they're a superstar, and we're like, oh, okay, well, like, you had it in you the whole time. You just have to finesse it the right way. Same thing with people on co-ed. People on co-ed that try out for co-ed, even at tryouts, like, try out for co-ed, make all girl kind of thing, like, because we're like, hey, like, we can use you. Like, you're gonna be good. You might not be the best for co-ed, but you can be the best for all girl. And our stunning is very similar. I'm not gonna say it's super different, but there's different tweaks to it. Obviously, me holding a girl up in the air is different than the two bases and the basketball with a girl. Like, they do certain things different. So you have to figure out those little things. And like, even at clinics, like, this is like my favorite and least favorite thing about clinics is that You have all girl on one side stunning, you have co-ed on the other side stunning, and the people at the clinics are just rotating. Like they're in all girl from 9 to 12 or whatever, and then randomly you just see them, like you see a girl, you have your group of girls you're throwing, and then you see a girl walk up, you're like, where'd you come from?
Yeah.
She goes, I was over there with all girl.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, let's see what you got, kind of thing.
For sure.
It's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it's a fire pick, and sometimes it's like, oh man, I'm gonna need you to head back over there, sweetheart. Like you're doing great. This is not it.
Yeah, for sure.
Respectfully. But yeah, like recruiting. So like I said, Mark does a really, like, and I commend him for it. He does a really good job at talking to people, talking to parents, speaking to athletes, and even just letting them know like you can come down here. And obviously, like I said earlier, if you come down to Moorhead, like you don't have a place to stay, you're staying with one of us. Like we're not gonna let you be stranded. Like even my first time in UK, I bought a hotel because my mom was like super scared of me being somewhere I haven't been. But by the third day, my hotel was done. And my mom was like, oh, like what happened with the hotel? I was like, oh, like something happened with the booking, like they canceled it for a day. And she was freaking out because obviously she was in California, she couldn't do anything. My dad's in New York, he couldn't do anything about it. And one of the guys in the team, Keyshawn, like my boy Keyshawn, he was like, hey man, like I live here. You come crash on my couch. And then I ended up staying on his couch. Like as soon as I made the team, I was like, all right, California. It was cool. Yeah. Packed my stuff up and moved out. Literally, like, I think I graduated in like March 30th. By like, April 5th, I was here. We're in Kentucky. And I was on his couch and he was like, hey man, like whenever like rooming situation gets, figured out, you're straight, and you need money? Nah, bro, we're family. You made the team. We're gonna help you out.
That's fine.
And even like here, like, we have tryouts and then after like we have like a gathering with all of us. And some people don't make the team, right? And people think it's gonna be like, oh, if you didn't make the team, cut off. No. You tried out for Moorhead. You did something that people want to do their whole life but are too scared to do. You took that first step. I respect you till I die. You came out and you tried out. You're still family. If you ever want to come out and just hang out, call me, text me, snap me, whatever it is, DM me. And I'll probably be like, hey, like even I got an extra room in my house, so I'm like, anyone else come over, like, hey, I got an extra room. I got couches in the living room. You guys can all crash on here.
For sure.
And like I said, with that group chat, that's everywhere. And that's how that's the family aspect that you're never going to get. Like, I don't know how it is with football, because I didn't do college-wise, but I know many football players who just go to every school and be like, hey, you're on the football team? I'm on the football team too, like, let me crash to your house.
Yeah. No, that's different. No, I try to do that when I was still playing. I would try to link with different guys all over and just kind of work on different skills, you know what I'm saying? But it is a little different. I think football players have a little bit of more of an ego. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that ego thing comes into play, and that keeps us from doing that kind of stuff. But so how did you get from UK to Moorhead? So like, how did that happen?
So I had my favorite high school teacher, well, one of my favorite high school teachers, Mr. Folks. Not blaming you for this, but he was like, because I was waking up like I woke up at 4:30 every morning in high school, or sophomore, junior, senior year, to work out with my mom. She was, kind of bigger and she wanted to lose weight. So we're waking up at 4 a.m. to work out. And then obviously 6 a.m. football workouts, and then school, and then practice, all that stuff. So he goes, aren't you used to getting up in the morning? And I was like, yeah, I'm used to get up every morning. It's nothing. He goes, all right, we'll keep that schedule. So I had 18 credit hours of 7 a.m.s. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like full week. Which, us being older, you're like, that was dumb. That was the dumbest thing you could have done. And my major, chemical and material engineering. So it wasn't taking easy classes. It was like, you're getting hammered at 7 a.m., you're getting hammered at 8 a.m. I had full pack schedule. It wasn't like a block schedule where I had like a break in between or lunchtime. None of that. It was full block schedule every day.
Yeah.
So, I was young and I was dumb and I made mistakes like, I made school mistakes. And, if I could go back and slap younger me and tell him like, hey, get yourself together. Like, you could do this. This could be your possible career on the line because you're, making dumb kid mistakes. But it was also $4,000 to $3,000. Like, it was blowing my like debt into the sky. Yeah. So, I had to part ways with UK at that time, which is really sad because like, I was on that track and I thought I had, and I did my year, so I was like for a year and a half, whatever it was. I was cool, you know. And Keyshawn was like, "Oh, bro, I'm going down to Moorhead." And I'm like, again, what's Moorhead, bro?
Yeah.
And we drive down, or I guess I drive down to Moorhead. And my first one Moorhead is a blackout. That's just think about it. You've never been to Moorhead, it's blackout first day you get there.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah, you know.
I think mine was close to the same when I first came. For my football visit,
Mhm.
I think mine was close to the same.
Yeah, so I get here, and Mark before this, Mark drove up. This is recruiting. Mark's great recruiting. He's like, I have a meeting with Mark, and he's on the phone with Mark, and he goes, "Oh, let's go to Cane's." Mark's like, "I'll pay for Cane's, whatever it is. We'll just go out and eat." And Keisha's like, "Oh, I have CJ in here too. Like he might be thinking about coming tomorrow." He goes, "Oh, perfect. We'll all talk." So we're sitting down talking about cheerleading and life and eating Cane's. He goes, "Oh, come up." And so we're driving down that later week or whatever. And I get there, we're throwing Aaron Staley around, we're all having a good time. And I'm still like not decided yet. You know, I'm like, I have all these choices of other schools I can go to. Like I don't know about Moorhead yet. And this guy, Dustin Velasquez, he was from California, not really the same area, but like I've known him since I was like in high school. I've known of him kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey man, like you fit in here. Like this is somewhere like it's probably gonna do well, you know." And he's like, I'm not gonna say the other team that I'm talking about, but I'm gonna say what he said. Basically, he was like, "Hey man, you're an hour away from here at UK." He goes, "You can take all your stuff an hour away and be here, or you can drive your stuff up over 20 hours away, wherever it was." He goes, "They got some pretty big girls though, man." He goes, "On the standpoint of you having a good time, that drive isn't gonna be fun. And you gotta pack all your stuff." And I was like, my car, I had Camry at the time.
Yeah.
Camry was already packed to the bone.
Anyways,
And he goes, and the girls are smaller here. And I was like, I'm going to Moorhead.
Yeah, good points. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, like, I didn't try out that year because I had tried out for UK that year. But over the summer, I integrated into the team and learned the Moorhead ways. Like, learned 10 tucks the day I got there.
Yeah.
Got to be around people. I think our median age, and if there's no such thing as too old for Moorhead. You could come whenever, as long as you have eligibility, you're all good. I think our median age my first year here was 27.
So how does eligibility work? Because that's a little different, isn't it? So my understanding of the concept is if you don't make math, it doesn't count against you.
Yep.
So you can low key be on the team for like 8 years.
You can be on the team not competing for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But we have nationals now, right?
Okay.
At UCA or NCAA, so the parent company being varsity, that they own everything. They're monopoly. Even if they tell you they're not, if they have to take our voice out of this, whatever, they're a monopoly. But they own UCA and NCAA. If you compete at either one of those events, you get a year off your eligibility.
Okay.
You get 5 years. They gave you a little bonus year, 4 years of college. But some people take longer. Like engineering students, most of the time take longer if they don't have, they have no commitments to school. Even some of them, or no commitments outside of school. Even some of them take 5 or 6 years kind of thing. So imagine adding like all these athletic things you're doing. I mean that for every sport, So you get 5 years. I hate saying blessed with this, but if you competed during the COVID year, everyone got a freebie. So now if you competed during COVID, you get 6 years in you're competing. So then it's this whole generation of people, I guess people that competed that, now have a chance to have 6 rings for college. Mind you, also during these 5, during the 5 years, you can compete in partner stunt or group stunt. Partner stunt being one guy, one girl. It's a minute, do the hardest things you can, cleanest things you can, and you're competing against other guy and girl couples. And partner stunt or group stunt, being the all-girl version. And dude, like this year, like I loved Oliver and Paige's routine, partner stunt wise, they were amazing. But like this year, the all-girl group from West Georgia, dirty, like super clean, super dirty. And Oliver and Paige's routine was also dirty, but like, that all-girl routine, like sometimes like, game respects game.
Yeah,
that's your
sure.
aspect,
Yeah, no.
Like, you go out there and you kill it. Like there was even a team from Delaware. Mind you, they might not have had the hardest skills in there, but they went out and they competed and they were clean. Like everything hits the top, stop. They moved around, did all that stuff. And I told the flyer in the group from there, I was like, that was awesome. Like what you guys went out there and did was awesome because I don't, like I said, you don't have to do the hardest thing out there. But if you go out there and make it clean, make it look good, make it look effortless, that's money.
Yeah.
You know, like, and even in standpoint, like that group, if the harder, the West Shredder group, they went out and, dropped some things here and there, the other team dropped some things, that group could have won. You never know. That's the game you play. You're gonna go out there, hit your stuff, cool. Is everybody else gonna go out and hit their stuff? Or, stroke, I say stroke sometimes too, but like, you gonna stroke your skills, or you gonna go out there and, bobble and being, so say perfect execution is like locked out arms, perfect grips. A bobble would be like, say if I threw her up and I had a bad grip, so I take a step, or like she kind of like wiggled in the air, and we're judged on that. Like, if you don't throw her up and land perfectly, that's considered a bobble. A drop obviously is if she falls. Major bobble, like I'm just explaining Trilly, I hate that. Major bobble, say if I throw her up and instead of it hitting to the top, she kind of like, or I did something wrong, she did something wrong, or we both did something wrong, and it props out my chest, and I can push her back up. That's a major bobble, which is, I think it's like 0.5 deduction, versus like a drop is like a 2-point deduction or a 5 or 3-point deduction, whatever it is. And even like a bobble could be like a 0.1 or a 0.25. And some teams are winning by 0.025.
Yeah,
or it's like, it was like, dude, you and you got like I think Augur won by 5 points this year. It's like there's these big gaps, I think Smollett was something crazy like 14, like, or they were blew out the water kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, so you guys had a year.
Yeah. We're trying to get it. If I'm ruining the secret, whatever, I don't care. We're trying to get brooms on our rings for that clean sweep.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's dirty, bro. Like,
that's fine.
And I think we're putting on the inside of the ring that way. It's not like that gaudy, but clean sweep, bro, with the broom.
Yeah,
gas.
that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. But so, well, I guess we gotta ask the question. So, because it's your first time on. So the question I always ask people the first time on, because the question, like the main question that started my podcast, and it's a question of what's one of the hardest things you've ever been through in life, and what was your mentality, or what did you have to do to get through those things, to get through that phase, that time in your life?
Personally, I would say still dealing with all the deaths I have in my life, like, and I can't even say I'm over it now. Like, I still, for example, like not too long ago, probably like, I think it was last year sometime, I called my mom and I was like, hey mom, like, I'm gonna text Stacey. I was like, have you spoke to Cal in a long time? Like, have you spoke to him? Like, I just got a friend request on Facebook. And Facebook's messing me up internally. And she was like, CJ, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, you haven't talked to Cal? She was like, Cal's been dead for 2 years. And my brain was like, oh yeah. I kind of like brushed it off my mom. But I think I've had so much death in my family and throughout my lifetime that I still have to still have to process that, man. I don't ever take my time to go process that, which I should be doing. And I'm doing better right now. I'm like going out and like, I've been doing a lot of things lonely. Like, not lonely, but alone. Like going to the Bakiji alone and just sitting and breathing and thinking about how most things in my life affected me. Like, the troubles I have with my dad, or the family problems I have in my own family. Like I said, that family thing earlier with that group chat, like this cheer stuff, even though it's just cheerleading, has helped me come out of dark times in my life. I've had people I can just call and talk to. I've had, friends like you, man. Like, if I never cheered, I would never met you. I never be on this podcast right now.
Yeah, thanks.
Like, I wouldn't have these great people in my life to help me get through these things. And dude, there's just like I said to you earlier, like half of my friend group is gone. And I say gone, like they died. Like they're gone. A quarter of them from there are in jail right now, or in prison, whatever you want to call it, whatever heinous thing they did, whatever. Past that, and the other quarter, like, kind of just pushing through, barely making it. I mean, some of them are doing really good, but it's a hard thing. Like, if you grow up in I can't even say rough area. It's rough everywhere. Wherever you're at can be rough. I don't care if you're in the richest neighborhood ever, if you're in the poorest neighborhood ever. You can have a rough time wherever you're at. But
when you lose that hope.
Yeah, when you lose that hope, it's game over.
Yeah.
But for a time, like I said, I was one of the people that needed to smile. I was one of the people that needed someone to tell me something stupid for a couple times in my life, And I'm glad that I had someone, I mean, not always, but I'm glad I had someone after that, or, once we talked about it afterwards, to be like, hey man, like, you're still alive, you're still breathing, you have all these people around you, And you guys have all like, you might think I'm the happiest person ever. That's not true, but I try to fake it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And y'all have also always been someone to like make me laugh, make me smile, you know, and keep me out of the darkest places in my life. And I can say thank you to all you guys for that. Like coaches, friends, family, random strangers that make me laugh in ADUC or wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to go too detailed.
No, but come on, yeah. No, we get deep on here. It's cool, it's cool. Yeah, we do that.
But, yeah, man, like even like dealing with stuff with my pops, like, that's gonna be weird to talk about too, but, you know, not being around him my whole life.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you know, knowing what he looked like, what he sounded like, and not seeing him. Like I used to, like I said, we were back and forth. I used to go to this summer school. It was a Catholic summer school. Yeah, I was raised Catholic for some part of my life. Oh man, that's a move.
Hey, well, that explains. I feel like being Catholic helps people like discipline.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? It instills like this sense of discipline in people. Like I feel like Catholic people usually have discipline. I feel like you have some pretty good discipline about yourself.
Somewhat, man. I'm trying. That's all I can say is I'm trying.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom's also like a big, like I didn't even say this. My mom's probably the biggest influence in my life. Like she may not be perfect. No one's perfect, you know.
No, yeah,
but
sure.
she tries her best to, you know, give myself and my oldest or my second oldest sister, and you know my nieces now, my beautiful nieces, everything that she didn't have. And then she even like she'll tell us like growing up we were free speakers. Like I'm trying to curse right now because it's for your podcast and I don't want to curse too much.
Yeah.
But like not that I was allowed to curse when I was younger either, but you know she talked to me about things like, as if I wasn't not an adult, but as if I was, you know, getting toward the age.
Yeah.
That way if I'd have to go out to my friends and learn these things.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and she was always someone that helped me out. Like even now, like I don't call her enough, but I call her and I talk to her like, hey, like I'm dealing with this, and she would be the first person like, hey, you know, in my life I had this time, and you know I was struggling really hard, and even you, CJ, like you helped me do something like it, or she's a special ed teacher. It was like her class has taught her to be calm. Her class has taught her, you know, to embrace the little things, or you know, this other teacher she was with, or some other person she randomly met has guided her in a way, so she tries to help that out to us, and you know. I'll tell her to this day, like being a single mom's not fun. Like being a single mom's hard.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, like going to that Catholic school, like knowing what my dad looks like, knowing what he sounds like, but never meeting him. And then when I finally met him, like I haven't had this conversation with him either. He'll probably watch this and be like, why don't you talk to me about this? But you know, finally meeting him, and then you know, I got to stay with him for a summer, and him being like 12, 13, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like it was 3 to like that gap, and then you know it's nice that he's back. I like that he's back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But you know, meeting him and being around him, and then you know staying with him that one time, and him being like, hey, walk home. Here's my address. And this like, it hurt me to my core. I was like, I just want to choke everybody out. I get from school, and I walk up 2 blocks to the bridge, go across the bridge, 2 blocks up. That's where his house was. So mind you, all these summers, I'm going up to New York to be with my other family, you know, meet my dad's side. I'm meeting my aunts and uncles and my cousins and all that stuff. Never seeing my dad. And then when I finally meet this dude, when I finally meet him, so rude. When I finally meet him, he's like 4 blocks away. And he's always been 4 blocks away.
Yeah, around the corner.
Yeah, you know, like, and you know, my mom and him were young when they had, not super young, but they were younger, you know, and we talk about it now, they had younger mindsets or mind states, so they did petty things, so I can get why they didn't want to like be around each other.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I didn't see my dad for all these years over some petty stuff, you know, like, and even on his side, like I haven't talked to him about it really, because I'm just like kind of letting us be mellow. I'm like, dude, like, you were 4 blocks away.
Yeah.
I don't care what kind of pettiness you have with my mom. If you wanted to be around me, you would have been around me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, I always tell people, because I have a friend who kind of had the same mindset, and because now that I have a son, I tell people I get where you're coming from, because for me it's kind of like I'm adopted, so like the idea now that I'm sitting here, I'm like, but I don't care what my adopted parents were going through. The idea that you could just not want to, you know, see your blood, your seed. Like, well, now that I look at my son, but in a sense, now that I have a son with a woman, a lady I'm not with, I can say it's much easier to say that, but from a dad's standpoint, I think you most definitely have to get his complete side of it, because for me, it could be some things to where he understood just being around your mom would have ruined it for you.
Her.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for him, he wouldn't have been a good dad for you. He would have been stressed. He would have been this. He would have been, you know what I'm saying?
I get you.
Just little things like that. So, like, cause, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like any story. This side, and the truth. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, in that sense, it's just, I don't think there's not much Quentin's dad or mom could do to like make me not want to be around him. But I can most definitely say I would say if it got to a point where I knew me being in his life and being around her ruined it for him, then I would have to make that sacrifice.
Her.
You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
Cause you just don't know like how bad it could have got. Like, it could have been all his fault. The reason she's acting, behaving, doing all the petty things in general. But like, once we get there, it's like once the petty things are starting to happen, like how we got here is irrelevant. They're happening.
Oh no, I haven't talked to him about like that personally, but I've talked to him about like the past and why it happened. Like, and there's so many things. Like, I don't know if like you see my elbows before. I could go double jointed.
Oh man, yeah.
So what I was told was that, oh, you just double jointed. My mom told me, like, my mom lies too. Like I said, they're not, neither one of them are perfect. Right?
Yeah, thanks.
It was, oh, you're just double jointed. And I met my dad for that year, and he was like, oh no, like I was like, I'm just double jointed. He goes, no, like you broke your arms when you were a baby. And I was like, what? You know, I've never heard that story. He goes, no, like my godmom had a cast in her leg, you know, and she wasn't paying attention and just put her leg down. It broke my arms. And, you know, he told me that story, and I was like, oh my God, like I never heard that story. Like, no way. He goes, you can go look up he told me the hospital and everything, like, go look up the medical records. You can find out what happened to you.
Yeah. And
went back to my mom after that. She was like, oh, your dad's lying and making up these stories. So I had to, you know, me being a kid still, I was like, oh, I got two different stories. I don't really care. Either way, the arms are messed up. Like, they're already done. They're not done, but they're messed up. And then to confirm the story, one day we're in JFK, which is the airport in New York, and I see my godmom. You know, I'm like, oh hi, like I love you, and my dad kind of stands back, and I'm like, dude, like that's my godmom. That'd be weird. Like, come talk to her. And he goes, no, because she won't admit that she made a mistake. You know, and like, you know, messed you up. And she goes, Chris, that was so long ago, like, why are you still talking about it? And I'm like, oh, so it did happen. And she goes, yeah, it happened. Like, what do you mean? Like, it was an accident. Like, I wasn't trying to like, hurt you. And I was like, oh, dang. So my mom, you know, this was at the time where I was still getting all the information from my mom.
Right. And,
you know, now I'm hearing I'm hearing my dad out all the time now. And now I'm getting that story. And then now it's like, all right, well, now I got to figure out which part of these stories goes where, like you were saying earlier, like there's his side, her side, what's the truth? Yeah. And, you know, now that I'm older, I'm figuring out more and more and more. But I think the reason why I'm harder on him now still is because even now, like my mom is, I think she's pretty good at deflecting and just going, this is like how it's gonna be. Like, she's not into the petty stuff anymore. She's too old for that. Yeah. But he still like has that, like, you know, like knife still in his back. You feel me? So he's like, oh, this happened, so I gotta act this way. Like, it's another side of our, sorry family if you get mad about this, but I had a cousin, you know, my dad's side owns churches, right? Christians, I can't know what kind of Christians, but they're Christians. I had a cousin that converted, he was Muslim, you know, and for like 5 years they shunned him. Mm-hmm. You know, or we don't talk to him because he's Muslim. And, you know, he gets on his deathbed and they're like, oh, like we missed all these years of being around you. And I'm like, you guys chose that. Yeah, like, and that was, and like you said earlier, ego for football guys. That's an ego thing. If you believe in God, and I will say this to anybody, sorry if I, you know, get your house on the spot, but if you believe in God and you believe that we're all his children, you shouldn't care about what someone else believes. Right. You can say, hey, I want better for you and I believe this, but if you don't believe that, I can't force you. When we see our maker, or whatever you believe in, then we'll find out, you know, what was right. But you shouldn't be, you know, chastising, hating each other. Like we're going to wars for it right now. We're still at war with it. Yeah. You know, like even in the U.S., so you're not, like, you know, people being Muslim. I had a Muslim girl in my school, And they pray. Some of them pray 8 to 12 times a day, and she's praying at Reese or something, and some girl goes like kicks her. I'm like, yo, like, why? What's the point? And obviously it became a problem, and then people are like, oh, she's Muslim, so she's a terrorist, which I hate saying this, but Americans make mistakes, and we tend not to look at the history and learn from our mistakes. So that was a problem there, and on the aspect of my mom being really good with this kind of things, like, mind you, I was raised Catholic for most of the part, and then she took me to other churches, she took me to read the Torah, she took me to read the Quran, she took me to learn about these other cultures and religions, and she took me to the Baptist church first before all that, and like my family was being baptized, right? Like all my cousins got baptized. I'm still not baptized, whatever, because she wanted me to learn why I was doing what I was doing, to understand the reason I'm doing it, and like if I even believe in that. Right. Like even now, like if I say this again, like if I get in trouble, whatever. I don't believe in any prophets, so like I don't believe in Jesus or I shouldn't probably say this out loud. Like I don't believe in David or Muhammad. I believe there are people. Yeah. I believe that they probably got the word of God and they were very good to all of us. But at the end of the day, what did God tell us to do? What was the message that was supposed to be sent down to us? Be better to each other. Don't take any false idols. Grow with each other. I think that's the thing that people are missing with that. Like it's I like that person. You're supposed to grow with that person. Mm-hmm. If they have something and you see them doing it wrong or not understanding it, you're supposed to go over and go, hey, let me help you. Let's understand this together. Like same thing with hate. Like I talk to people sometimes about the Bible and stuff, and people get mad like, oh, like I believe in the Bible. I hate gay people. First things first, who are you to judge, bro? Are you God? Like, should you not love them? Yeah. You can dislike something that someone's doing and fully love them and fully believe that they're going to be better. Yeah, for sure. And it's like, people are like, oh, well, I hate gays. Do you eat shrimp? Man. You eat fish? You eat pork? Yeah, you eat pork? Like, what rules were we allowed to have? Like, I know I had, I'm going to call her, I don't care. I had an ex-girlfriend. If you get mad about this, sorry, I still love you guys. I had an ex-girlfriend whose mom did mission trips, and she was higher than all. She was almighty, like, oh, like, you guys do this, you guys are going to hell, whoop-de-whoop. And I'm like, you got your ears pierced? You got your family has tattoos? Mm. Oh, so like, we can bend the rule here, we can't bend the rule here. Yeah. And I say that, not saying that I'm perfect. I break rules. I don't break rules. Government, I don't break rules. I make mistakes because everyone else does wrong in it. But it all comes down to that loving factor. Like, and like I said earlier, man, that cheerleading thing, streamlined, like that's something that you're just gonna get love out of. You might hate your life sometimes. You might not enjoy cheerleading, the aspect of cheerleading, but you'll always come back for the people around you. Like even me, I was retired. I was done cheerleading, bro. I had packed up all my cheer clothes and I was giving them away. Like, people have more right now, like some of the new guys or even the younger guys or older guys.
It was before you when you were natty. What are you talking about?
This is before this year.
Yeah.
I was retired, bro. I was done. Yeah. I, had a little fall. I went back to UK, had a little falling out there. And after the conversation we had, I was like, you know what? Like I called Coach Sarah and I was like crying on the phone. I didn't understand what was going on. Like, I felt like I was trying so hard to be what they needed from me. Yeah. And it just didn't work out. And that's how life is. You can't always fit the puzzle pieces if you're going to the wrong puzzle. Yeah. Like, that's just how life is, I called my coach, was crying and all this, and I was like, I thought I sat on it for a couple of weeks, and I was like, I had a pretty good career. I won national titles. I have multiple national titles. People know who I am, kind of thing. Like, I'm good. And then came back to Morehead as an alumni, mind you. Went to a practice and was just watching the new set of people, Got there and then Gabe walks up and he was like, hey, you gonna end your cheer career on a loss? Literally. I was like, alright, that hurtful, you gotta say that. Mind you, Morehead, while I was gone, they had won another championship, like they won a championship. My last year at Morehead, obviously, they didn't win, but they won a championship and he was like, you gonna end it on a loss? And I was like, damn. I hurt. Yeah, for sure. And then Mark, being a great recruiter like always, man, he's talking. He's like, oh, how's GK? And I'm like, oh, I'm not cheering anymore. Yada 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 happened. Whatever. He goes, oh, you have eligibility, right? I was like, yeah, man, I'm retired. He goes, oh, you got eligibility. You come to practice tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'm at practice tomorrow,
Yeah.
And they throw me in and I'm throwing girls again. And I'm like, dang, like, this is why I do it. Like, and like I tell you, the environment at Morehead is something that can never be replicated anywhere else. We probably can get pretty close, but what school has 53 national titles in any sport, let alone just cheerleading, What school can you say, like, we have homecoming here at Morehead. Can you say that you have alumni from 88 and even people that weren't cheerleaders? I mean, it might have been like before the national title started, there were just cheerleaders at Morehead that come back, and it's not, oh, what skills do you have? What can you do? It's, hey, nice to meet you. I've heard about you. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the family. If you need anything, I got you. If you want anything in your life, I got you. You need a place to crash, you need a job, you need a reference, we will always take care of our own, Even if you don't stay here, like, that's the best part, like, some people go to Morehead and leave. Like, some people stay for 6 months, some people stay for a year, some people leave after tryouts. Like, they go to their first practice and they can't handle it, and like, this place is hard, and they leave, And it's never, oh, bye, ew, we don't like you. It's always like, hey, still open arms. You still our family. We will take care of you, And that's something I'm going back to my dad again. That's something that my dad said. I was like, we kind of missed out on that.
Yeah.
Whereas cheer had that whole and that goes back to the first question, man. Like, what's something I hard went through? I think cheer really did save me. Like,
yeah.
I think there are a lot of things in my life that when I was down, man, and this is something guys see. Like, some of us, you're feeling that, you go to the gym, work out, right? I do the same thing. I might not lift weights all the time. Sometimes I go to the gym and throw some people. That's my joke. Like, what do you do for them? I throw people in the air.
Yeah. Sure.
Touch feet.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, that aspect of Morehead just will never change. And hopefully, we have some other schools soon that want to catch it to 53. I don't know who's even close at this point.
But the competition is needed.
Yeah, we always need it. Like, West Georgia, and that's like, we call it our sister or brother company or team, whatever you talk about. That's like Morehead's biggest competition, And we could handle it. Like, if we went to, like, say we both got moved up to the bigger, like the more funded school division, D1A, because Morehead's still in D1. Like, we're all D1 schools.
Yeah.
If we got moved to D1A, we would still compete with the top dogs. Like, we like this year we all still would have won. Like, we were all in our higher divisions. Yeah. All 3 teams still would have won.
Yeah.
But on that standpoint, like West Georgia, like, I've worked with them. Like, those are some of my best friends. Those are some of my family members. Like, not the actual family, like, those are my like I said, cheer family.
Yeah.
And earlier, like I said, I want them to go out and do the hardest things. Like, I want to see them working on skills I've never done before.
Yeah.
That I'm like, dang, like, that dude, Trey just did that, or Jazz just did that, or, Austin just did that, or, B-Nick just showed them how to do this. And you're like, dang, I gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
Not because I want to copy them or anything, but actually, I do want to copy them. I want to see if I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. If I can't do it, I'm gonna learn it.
Yeah, for sure. But even though the energy you get back, like, you putting that good energy out on them, I want them to do this, I want them to hit it, I want them to be great. You get that back on you.
Yeah.
It comes back on you. The energy you put out gets back, for sure. I understand that.
Yeah, man. And it's beautiful too, because, like, we're not the, I can't say, it's somewhat frowned upon in the cheer world to go to your competitors and, like, go hang out with them, right? Because people are like, oh, you're gonna, like, they're gonna steal you and, make you go to their school or whatever. But mind you, a lot of us don't care. Like, we care about cheerleading. Like I said, we care about the best part of cheerleading, which is go out there and hit your stuff and show me the hard routine. And sometimes it takes, some of us to go to other schools and go stunt and go see how they do things over there. It was like, pyramid-wise, UK has a certain way we do double ups, right? We pinch their, I'm not telling secrets. We're a certain way we do double ups, and then when a couple of us guys came down from UK and went to Morehead, we adapted some of that into our routines, right? Because now the guys that know how to do that, we're like, we're just gonna do that every time, and whatever works the best, we're gonna use, right? there was a secret technique that UK had for the diameter skill, like that skill. That's the secret way to teach it. And at first it was in-house, like it was in the box kind of thing. And then slowly it kind of spilling out. People started watching us coach. Like people got privates from us, obviously. And if you do a private lesson and we teach you it, like
you'll be able to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got this video of it, like go show somebody else. But that's the best part of the sport, For example, West Georgia did something called a flip-flop, which is, that has the worst names. Trilling has the worst names for their skills. They do a back handspring, which is obviously a back handspring, like, you put your hands and you grab the waist, and as you're grabbing it, they flip you forward, so you do a front flip and you land in the skill. West Georgia invented that skill. Like they just, people were messing around in the gym and like, I wonder if I could do this. Did it. Yeah. And then it became, all right, teaching the rest of the schools to do it. And they were the first to compete that, Triple ups, like, you probably heard about that. Like, girls spinning 3 times and landing on the leg. The first team competed, Morehead State. And, I'm still proud about it. I can only say there's 2 guys in, like, college nationals or whatever that have ever competed triple ups. And or throwers wise, it's me and Jackson Chase, We're the only 2 guys that ever do it because, one, it was illegal before. And then after we did it, they made it illegal again. And like I said, cheer's always evolving. So give it like 2 or 3 years, it'll be, legal again. Yeah. That was like even, like Mark's really good with rules. Like he's always like, look at the rule book and they play the game of like, how can you toe the line? Like this is kind of a gray area. Like triple ups, it was a gray area. It wasn't like, it used to say you can't do triple ups. And then that year it was like, it didn't say you can't go past, or 2 1/4, you can't go past 2 1/4. And that year it didn't say that, it said something else. And it was like, oh, and then skip next rule. So then he was like, triple ups legal, guys, like we're doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what it's always gonna be, like in the ACA committee, which is USASF ACA, is kind of like the bosses of all of us. But they make our rules every year. Like I said, every year it changes. Like the weirdest change, but I guess good change, toss shoulder stands. And they're illegal, right? And if I explain to you, you're like, that sounds so easy. So basically you take the girl like regular toss, you throw her up and she lands on your shoulders. That's it. She's standing on your shoulders, right? It became illegal to do it without a spotter. Because we used to just, routine, toss shoulders, cool, move around and, go to like whatever pyramid. But it became illegal because it's so easy to just drop a girl on that. Like, you say, you go up and she missed your shoulders, boom, she's off. If you don't catch her fast enough, she's gone. Yeah. Especially if you don't have a spotter. But now you have to have the spotter for it. Yeah. But mind you, toss hands, which toss straight to here, perfectly legal. Like you can do that anytime you want. But it's also like, it's safer. It is safer. You know?
Because it's in front of you.
Yeah, but all these little changes happen. Like 1 year, we have signs when we cheer. 1 year, this dude, I can't think of what team did it. I don't call them out anyways. We used to be able to throw our signs, right? And we're throwing our signs to get them off the mat so we can move on. 1 year, this girl did a stunt, had a sign, came down, threw it, not looking, and the sign, they're pretty thick, like cardboard-ish material, like plastic cardboard material. It bounced up and sliced the spotter, like whole face, fully scarred out now. And it was just like freak accident. But then it became, hey, if you throw your sign in the routine, it's a deduction. Like we have to take points off of that just for safety, because mind you, that dude got cut up, like had surgery kind of thing. And it's like random things like that get changed. But then you have like the dichotomy of like baskets when we throw the girls up and we catch them. Like I guess everything's starting catching girls, but or I guess the guys knock their hands like this and the girl jumps in and throw them up and they do whatever in the air. They recently changed the ruling on that. And if you're gonna do, I think it's flipping and spinning more than once or twice, you need, more than 3 skills when you go up in the air. You need 2 guys or 2 guys and a guy back spot. And you go, what about all girl? Like, they can't do that anymore, right? And there's all these skills that got made illegal. Like, when I first started in high school and stuff, like we could do pike up and doubles, which means that she goes up, she does like flattens her body, opens up, and then spins twice coming down, and she also flips. That was legal, And I can't tell you how many times, like when I all-star for a year, that I was throwing some girl that didn't know how to do it or shouldn't have been doing it, and you throw her up, and you're like, this is gonna hurt, get booted in the mouth or get booted in the chest, or she's blowing somebody out, elbowing people, and it became a safety issue because
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah, like and like cheerleading in general, like even like statewide, it's so much different. Like I didn't know that in West Virginia for like the past like 10 years or since the inception of cheer until a couple years ago, they didn't have mats. Like everything they did was on the gym floor. Like I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like what?
That's dangerous.
Yeah, right. And in Ohio, I saw this the other day. In Ohio, at the high school level, they don't stun. They don't throw the girls up in the air.
No, I believe that.
So I was like, so then how do you, like you're coming, if you never did All-Star cheer or never did anything else, how do you go, hey, so you're pretty good, but like, we have to throw you here. Like, what do you, like, figure it out. And that becomes that part of, we got to train or make it work. But like people like that, like people that know how to tumble from West Virginia, and mind you, those people in West Virginia, I give them props because they got bounced. They bounce off the floor every single day. Like my knees, I mean, my knees are gone, but if I was that every day, I probably would be a cheer.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's crazy. I give you guys mad props, but some of the stuff I see you guys' videos, but mad props. I mean, I probably, for me, if I worked at it as hard as you guys do, because I know, like I talk to the cheerleaders, like I know, like you guys be in there, like in there, late at night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., y'all be in there all the time. Like, I give you guys props. Y'all do some crazy stuff.
Thank you.
Like some real, it's like, my jaw drops a lot. I saw the video you guys did, I guess outside at the football field this year, and I was just in awe. I was like, wow, this is cool. Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, dude, that's our homecoming routine. So like, and even like that's a tester routine. You know, like in our people go, oh, like what do you mean tester routine? Like we have homecoming, we have a couple of performances before that. That's just us filling out how the new people or like, you know, people in the program now are going to perform under pressure, right? So it's not the hardest routine we're going to do, but we want to push you a little bit, you know, like pressure buttons, and then also like telling some Moorhead secrets right now if I get in trouble. Sorry guys. So at homecoming for Moorhead, all your alumni come, right? And we all, you know, obviously come out there. Not that they're going to be mean to you or like make you do something bad or make you do anything that's like illegal to do cheer wise, you know. But they have full reign. Like if they're like, hey, I want to see everybody do a Sand Tuck. And mind you, this is the game that all girl cheers and co-ed cheers, so they have their all girl alumni sitting in front of them, and then we have our co-ed alumni, and they're just going back and forth, you know, walking over to each side. It's like I want to see the whole program do tucks, and get on the floor. Everybody doing. You know, this is a big game, so the game's still happening behind us, and we only have to pay attention to the game, make sure we're calling the right stuff, make sure we're doing the right stuff for the timeouts and stuff. It's also like now we got these people in front of us that, you know, we're wearing the uniform before us, so it's like, go do this skill. Or like if there's someone that's competing partner stunt and the alumni find out about it, they'll be like, all right, let me see the first half of your routine. And sometimes we're like, you either warm up, you be all right. You know?
Yeah, no, that's fire.
Or they call out like, for me, because I love one arms being like where she does like a backflip on one hand, one on one hand. I love that skill. It's like one of my things I do. So, you know, I think since I got here, every year someone's like, all right, do it one arm. All right, do it with someone else. Like this year, they were like, because if I want to do a one arm, I just, you know, call Nicole, like, hey, Nicole, come here quick, because her and I have been doing it so long, I kind of know her timing to where I'm not gonna like, you know, overdo it or underdo it. Sometimes I think I overdo it with Nicole a lot, because I'm just like, oh yeah, I gotta do it with somebody else, and I fling her and she's like gone.
Yeah.
You know? But this year they're like, all right, do it one arm, and then someone was like, without Nicole, and I was like, all right, whatever, grab somebody else and do it, and it's like. It's so funny because you're having a great time at the game because you're laughing and joking about this kind of stuff, but then also, this is the kind of bad part. And this is good and bad. So co-ed has 31 national championships, going for number 31 now. We have 30 national championships just by ourselves. Every year you get another one. If you mess up an IME skill, you have to, after practice, like after the game or whatever it is, you have to go back and make up those 31 now. So like, for example, I was the first guy this year to drop a stunt, like after we won the national title. And like I can say it wasn't even my fault, bro. Like literally I threw her up, it was supposed to be extension at 2 feet. I threw her up and she pulled a leg, meaning that she pulled one leg out. Yeah. So she was right here and my hands were over here, right? So I just went, it's one of those days, grab her hips, grip her hips and put her down. So then after the game, I did 31 of them, you know, I tossed her up. Put her back down, toss her up, put her back down, you know. And it's not like it is a punishment, but I wouldn't say it's a punishment in the fact that like you can't do it, you know?
Yeah.
It's hey man, like you have to like you're honoring the 31 people, or it's technically 30, the 30 people that did this before you by doing that.
The standard.
Yeah, it's a standard to have.
Yeah.
And then for like more elite skills, I think it's like 5 or 10 or 15, one of those numbers. It's small, but it's still like you better go out there and do it, you know? Like I think our double up dropped one time in a performance, so we owed 5, you know?
Yeah.
And like say you forget to do a basket. I think baskets are like 1. You should go do 1 basket because like they kind of do it or you don't do it.
Yeah.
But that's also fun. So like you got homecoming, like I said, and if they call out an IME, and you go out there thinking you got it like that, you make a stupid mistake, or you throw her in the wind taker sometimes. Like I'm telling you, sometimes like it'd be colder more than it. Maybe sometimes you throw her up and you chilling, thinking you got it, and as soon as you dip down, it shifts her line or something. Or sometimes like I've had a flag hit by a bird mid stunt, which that blows me completely. Cause I'm like,
how does that happen?
Yeah, like, what was the bird doing, bro? Like, what were you doing before this?
Yeah.
But like you gotta go after homecoming and like go to the practice room and go make these stunts up, and you're just like, Then sometimes, well, not funny like that. They'll laugh at you and like, oh, like I can still do it, kind of things. And some of the alumni come out and they're like, oh, you messed that up, and they'll grab some girl on the team and do it. Like, it ain't nothing. We still got it. And sometimes, it's like talk too much and they're like, all right, I'm gonna go do it, and they do it, mess it up, and you're like, see, it wasn't just me.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're still like, they're still like, oh, you gotta still make it up. I don't care.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
How long we been on here?
150.
Ooh, that's
150 minutes. Come on.
Almost 2 hours. Like an hour and 50 minutes.
Okay.
So what is that?
110.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at math.
I was about to say, it's been chock full. I ain't heard a pause yet. What?
Yeah, no.
I was about to say 150 minutes. Straight.
I talk too much, bro. That's my problem.
No.
No, see, I like.
Makes it easier.
I like it. These ones just as much because, well, one for me, I have to always figure out like some episodes I have to talk more and like help carry the conversation. Sometimes I get to do this right here, just kind of sit back and just let you flow. And I like doing these too because I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like for me, understanding cheer, my understanding of cheer most definitely has grown. Low key, at one point I was kind of like, damn, boy, should I have done cheer back in the day?
I'm telling you, listen, and all my boys, I'm like, yo, like, I told them, even back then, I'm like, yo, you should just, like, hear me out. Like the girl told me, come to tryouts, or come to a practice. Like, it became low key, like, in middle school, or not middle school, in the middle of high school, it became, come to a practice, dog, because, like, tryouts a little bit, gotta take it a little more serious, it's like that, but, like, come to a practice.
Yeah.
Come see us, like, especially at Moorhead, bro, like, come to a practice, and we invite people over all the time. And you don't have to come and do stuff. Come and just be in the environment. Like, mind you, Moorhead, we need AC in the room. This room never had AC.
Yeah.
We bought, I guess, I don't know if the school helped us out with this, but the cheer program bought two big old fans so we can like blow some air in there.
Yeah.
And we still drenched half the time, but you walk in there, you don't really see much. Like there's two doors. And you see a plaque of Myron Dome. That's how special it is. He has a plaque in front of our front door. You open the doors, you see a door right here. You see one of our banner, like our ring banners. And then you walk up and it's a little, like 4 mats wide, which I think mats are 4 or 5 feet across. It's probably like the room itself is probably like a 23 by maybe 120. That's all like the dimensions of the room. And you look up and you see banners just all the way up. From 88 to 2022, 23's not up yet. And you see all these banners. And not only like all those banners, every single one's at the time that we won, you start getting to when Augur got inceptioned, like kind of incepted into the program. And now you got a banner that says co-ed, all girl. You got a banner that says co-ed, all girl, partner stunt, group stunt, co-ed, all girl, partner stunt, group stunt, or co-ed one, already win, or all girl ones, whatever it is. And then now, the banner's gonna go crazy because it's gonna be like co-ed, smo-ed, all girl, or all girl, smo-ed, I think co-ed before small co-ed, yeah. So all girl co-ed, smo-ed, you know, and then we start doing partner stunt again, and it's gonna be, you know, all girl, co-ed, smo-ed, partner stunt, group stunt, and now we can add all these titles in.
Yeah.
And then mind you, so like there's that UCA and NCA, I don't know if we talked about that much. It's like the brothers and sisters of cheer, you know, and that's at varsity, the monopoly owns us all. I don't get in trouble. They're gonna be like, take that down, or you know, don't say that. But it's facts, bro. Like I love you guys, but actually I don't like you guys. I like you guys. I tolerate you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have to. They own everything. So there's UCA, which is Moorhead, UK, Alabama, Western Kentucky, UCF, USF, just other cheer schools, right? And that's more of the starting of cheer. That was like where it was incepted. So we believe in very clean cut cheerleading. Like, I hate this phrase, the all-American look kind of thing, whereas you're not being flashy. You're kind of doing you do your skill, it comes out cleanly, you walk cleanly, you know? You go to your next skill and make the same thing happen. Moorhead in some schools, we're kind of like adding some flair into it now where, you know, we're like, dude, like, I'm not going to keep building this whole walk clean thing. I'm going to, you know, this year at Nationals, I threw I can't think what it's called. Chidori, like in Naruto, like this thing.
Yeah.
I threw one of those during the performance. That's me adding flair, right? NCA, mind you, they're still dope athletes always, as all. They're more flair oriented, right? So not only are they doing a skill, they're doing whatever motions or whatever like choreography they have before the skill. And even when they get up in the skill, the girls are doing some choreography or some stuff. And then they usually, I would say overall, they usually tumble harder. Like they do more tumbling skills that are better, or they overall do better tumbling skills is a way I should word that. They still have to dance and they have to do jumps. Like, you know, whenever you ever see me do a jump,
Yeah.
you know? So they have like that aspect, and I would say NCA routines are more fast paced. So like they're moving and going because they have all these things to do at once. UCA wise, I would say, in my opinion, we look cleaner. You know, obviously that's like our goal here. We throw harder skills stunting wise and pyramids wise, because I think the less flair you add in your skills, like the harder things you could do, right? I would say, like talking to my NCA friends and like, you know, being around them a long time, sometimes I would say NCA routine is harder because I'm not only worried about, you know, throwing my skill with this girl, and I got worried about, you know, whatever choreography they gave me and making sure the dude behind me or girl behind me doesn't do some choreography or something, you know, dumb into me. And then they're tumbling harder. Like most of their teammates have tumbling that's better, right? So they're doing harder stuff anyway, so they're more likely to get hurt. Like tumbling's, it's safe, but it's not safe. Like you could, you know, do everything right and then have like the mat be pushed in wrong and you slip off the mat. And on top of that, for NCA, I'm still UCA boy, I die. I love UCA. On top of that, NCA competes at Daytona, Florida, not in Orlando or Kissimmee. And they're out on the beach. Like, so they call it the band shell. Literally, it's the floor's out, and there's this like hood cover over it, kind of. And the beach is right here. So like they're getting the sun in their eye. They're getting the sand blowing over them. Yeah. So like and my teammates that compete on the band shell are like, dude, that's hard. Like, I mean, we go out and we go out there and see lights. You know, like, oh, the lights are bright, kind of like get over it. They go out there and see the sun. Like, and that's not changing here, right? And then you got the sand that's coming through, which I commend them because like, you know, they have to do all that kind of stuff at night. And then like I'm talking about some other cheer stuff that you should probably come down. You guys should all come down. So during NCA, you know, us UCA people, we're done. Like unless we're competing part center, group center for NCA, we're like season's over for us. Yeah. So we all come down and support them. You know, we watch them, and they come up for us. See, some of them do. But now this is like this beach full of cheerleaders, all these people. You know, we all obviously have the same kind of goals, and we all have a great time. Like, everyone's coping. This is another part of that recruitment part, right? So now, like, you know, Moorhead just won 3 titles. Like, everyone from here heard about that. You know, so now we're on the field with them. Or like, there's this like little just long. It's like 2 football fields long, like grass area. Yeah. And everyone, we call it Stunt Fest. And everyone stunts, like, you know, mixing with different teams you never signed with, people you never seen before, and you just like, you know, people walk up to you, throw me. all right, you kind of do that kind of stuff. So not only are we this name now, like I might have my Moorhead gear on, or not the UK, my UK gear on, whatever it is, but now we're walking up and meeting new people, expanding our brand of cheerleading, expanding our name, expanding like the comfort level. Because some people are like, oh, I could never go to Moorhead, and I'm like, let's stunt. Like, I'll tell you if you can go to Moorhead or not. Like, come on, we'll throw some stuff up. Yeah, go to tryouts or go to a clinic. Or if you can't pay for the clinic, like even I tell people all the time, like if you can't pay for a clinic and you cannot financially make it, I'll get you in the clinic. Like I'll talk to Mark and you'll get in there, and if you're like, oh, like I don't have anywhere to stay, we got that covered. Like sometimes I'm like, hey man, like, the only thing you have to pay for, this is not every case, but most cases, the only thing you have to pay for sometimes is getting to Moorhead.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a good time. Like, and then this is the not child rated part, I guess. So after the NCAA people they're done, now it's time for fun for everybody. Everybody's in, it's not, there's no off season for cheer, but like we're done competing for that year. If you're a senior year, you might just be done.
Yeah.
So now it's like, all right, let's go to the bar, let's go hang out, let's all, see who's the best cheerleader, and people are throwing like their hardest stunts, and people are throwing their hardest tunnel passes, and some people like me, not like me, some people that are older, like me, we're all just, sitting there drinking, watching everybody, mingling around. Some people are there just to be around a whole bunch of people,
I'm with you, For sure.
It's a great time. And then like we have this same club we go to every single time. I don't know if I should shut. I'm not gonna talk about that. But we have the same club, and same rotation of people have the VIP sections every single time.
Yeah.
So it becomes like, oh, these people are gonna be in VIP. Like, you know who that is up there. You know who that is, and we call it cheer celebrities, which is makes me want to throw up hearing that term. But that's how it is. Like, you become a name. Like, I couldn't, like, my boy, Keyshawn, like, what was it, like 3 million views, or like almost like 7 million views on like his partner stunt routine that went out on Twitter. Like, and being Twitter famous is different. Like, and you tell somebody talk about, oh, Keyshawn, oh, you mean the guy, and then they had the cheer show.
I didn't know Keyshawn had a pull like that. I love Keyshawn.
Yeah,
my boy. I know he pull like that.
And then they did the cheer live tour, which is basically like them, like it's them doing the best parts of their version of cheerleading, or what they view of cheerleading, and they do a clinic into that, and that had like like Beyonce. I shouldn't compare to Beyonce. Kyle, don't get mad at me. It was just a comparison that's in my mind. Okay, like he's one of the queen bees himself. But bands and stuff go on tour. They did a tour this last summer where they expanded cheerleading. They went around to different parts of the U.S. and did shows. So like, and Keyshawn was one of the headers in that.
I saw that.
You got clout.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's awesome. And I don't understand that, because now people that never knew they could have these kind of people around them are seeing the shows. Like, even if you didn't know about cheer, say you watch cheer on Netflix, right? You're like, oh, like I don't think it's that big, and you go watch you watch cheer on Netflix, and you go to the cheer live show, and you're like, whoa, like say for you, like, and my son might join that. Like my nieces right now, another sidebar, I give them stretches every day, not because I need them to be cheerleaders, which I could care less about cheerleaders, I want them to be happy. But if you're a flexible athlete and you know how to use your muscles, you can be good at whatever sport you want.
Anything you want.
So I said that to my nieces, and then my cousins, like I've had to have meetings with like some of their schools and just talk about what college cheerleading's about and what they can do with their life with it. Ooh, excuse me. And if they don't want to use cheerleading, use cheerleading for the good aspects. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting faster. And like most importantly, I talked earlier, I'm meeting people. Like I have so many branches of connections I could use for the rest of my life.
For sure.
Like even one of my internships I did, one of my friends in my engineering class, she was like the biggest UK fan ever. And she's like, oh my God, you're like CJ, like I've met you before, like I've seen you cheering. And then her dad gave me a paid internship for an oil company. And I was like, that wasn't like the main line of like what I want for my engineering goals, but like it's a good start. It's somewhere to be. It was a paid internship too, so like not everybody gets those.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's you gotta come out of NCAA. Like Listen, if you guys, listen, I got an Airbnb we're getting. If you guys want to hop in and figure out the car rides down, you gotta come up. It's different. I'm telling you, and we'll give you some shirts too, dog.
You guys tell me twice. I'm there. But dog, that kind of asked. I don't know if we can talk about this. We can cut it, but I kind of asked the situation at UK. This last summer, maybe the summer before.
So this was this summer, like this past. So this last time, I'll talk about where to cut this though. Like,
no, we'll cut it for sure. Yeah.
So when I was at UK.
Well, hold on, let's do this. We'll end it. Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate all y'all coming. My boy CJ, I'm happy you joined us. I appreciate you being here,
thank
bro.
you for having me, bro.
I know it's been real. I appreciate all y'all joining us. Make sure you subscribe, follow the page. Appreciate y'all. Y'all be real.
Yes. Much love, y'all.
I slept in High Point Solution Stadiums for a whole summer.
I think we live in a time where spirituality is at an all-time low.
I've always chased him and everything he did. So anything he did, I did behind him. And I want to be better than him at everything. So.
To help your kid in any kind of sense because you've been so unplugged from their academic journey.